Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
And I'm looking at the schedule. I see more wins on the horizon.
6-1, some are saying.
But I think even that last game against the Bills, if they're not playing for anything, that could be a win at home.
They could be playing for the division against the Patriots.
Let's just get crazy and let's just say they do start rattling off wins. Isn't that so much better for the team?
Evan, don't you like to see them win?
Then
The priority for the off season for me is you got to find a good edge who can play every single down.
a really good edge rusher who can play well on all three downs.
Can I want that?
Yeah,
Why
but
can I want that?
Bo Pelini.
Bo
was on that
Pelini
staff.
hated us. The whole paper, it's just one big critique.
Which was like
I was like, what did I get myself
which is
into?
like so wrong, you know?
No, especially in those days.
Right.
I was still on board in those days.
When Evan said to Paul, "Let me finish," when he was making a point, I took that as growth on Evan's part, and do love it when he asserts himself with Barthy on catch 22.
Yeah, sometimes you have to tell Bart to go sit in the corner. You know, like he just,
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Wednesday here at Gillette Stadium. It's Paul, it's me, it's Matt in the booth. We'll be joined later by Evan and Deuce. They've got their locker room duties right now, and then Evan will be going out in the cold
He's
weather.
not happy about it.
No.
Fred. Not happy about it.
No, so let's tell this story. In order to get from where Evan and Paul work to the media workroom, you have two routes. You can either go outside the building and then back in, or you can go up inside the building, down and up and down. So lately the weather's been really nice around
Beautiful.
here. So the guys have been going outside and, you know, they were like, oh, great
Really
weather.
enjoying it.
Evan, what's this obsession with the weather, right? Today, it gets down to the low 40s, and the guys go outside. Evan's like, he can't have it because it's too cold, and so he goes
He walked through inside by himself.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, Evan's obsessed with the weather.
So Mike, Tamara, and myself all just walked from
Yeah.
E3 to E2,
Yeah.
which takes about 30 seconds,
Yep.
and Evan walked through the
Yeah.
inside of the building
We'll have
and
to
around.
give him crap about that when he gets here.
Well, then he's got to go out to practice.
Right. But it is a little.
It's a little chilly today.
It's chilly. It's not freezing yet, but you know it's low 40s.
No,
up
and
at-
even
yeah.
because like Monday it was another like high 60s,
Right, so it's
kind
a-
of tipping 70
yeah,
again
it's-
day. So it's been
it's dramatic.
a big contrast.
Yeah. So bundle up a little bit now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's time.
It's brisk. Anyway,
time.
so that's your daily weather report.
Could be good for for Sunday. I don't think it's going to be that cold.
I
It
think in
sounds
the
like low
50s.
60s.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was thinking if it was unseasonably cold, it might be good.
Yeah.
For the Rams.
But it's always good to practice in all weather. We were told that by a
great-
old coach that used to
great
be here.
Ball coach,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Take advantage of all the conditions.
Yeah.
Right, as they're offered. All right, so what are we talking about today? Obviously, this is Turn the Page Day. We've got the Rams coming in on Sunday.
Yep.
A game where I'm pretty sure, Paul, you've probably already looked, the Patriots are underdogs,
Yes.
according to the big houses.
Yes.
Yep.
5 points.
Those that set,
5.5,
Those that
5.
set the line, 5.5 points.
Something like that.
Right.
I think it might be 5 now.
So I heard that those that set the lines no longer give 3 points for the home team. No, listen, it's 2 points if you're a dome team, and it's 1.5 for. No, I'm sorry, I have it the wrong way.
You ruined it.
It's 2 points if you're an outdoor team, and 1.5 for dome teams.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have to adjust that when it comes time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at minus 4.5 right now.
It's down to
Oh,
4.5.
down to- oh,
A
the
lot of
money-
Patriots money coming in, Fred.
Money coming in. Yeah.
So Gerard Mayo spoke today, and there's an obvious emphasis. They want to try, and no big surprise here. They want to try to stack some wins. They haven't won 2 in a row. This regime, he goes, we've had experience with multiple losses in a row. It's time to have some urgency and put a win streak together and find a way to get back-to-back wins for the first time. So I think that's the message. Hunter Henry came out, Drake Maye. They talked about that. One real interesting, noteworthy comment I thought from Mayo was he had a lot of praise for Alex Van Pelt, and I'm not using the exact words, but I'm paraphrasing. No one deserves more credit for developing Drake Maye than Alex Van Pelt.
Well,
that was basic. That was the message of what he said.
It's good for. I'm glad Gerard's been listening to this show, because
I think
weeks
Van
ago
Pelt
we were
deserves
saying
some of the credit for that.
somebody's been doing a good job with this kid, and we assume it's Alex Van Pelt. So I'm glad that Gerard is a listener to Patriots Unfiltered.
Right. Well, Gerard is a friend of the program. He knows the program.
Yep. So we were kind of wondering that a couple weeks ago, like who should get the credit for so far the development of Drake Maye, because it seems to be going in the right direction, and he was out. So it's interesting that he was out there saying that, because he probably hears the noise and everybody talking about Alex.
Greg Bedard was on yesterday on my show with Mike and Tony, and and I didn't entirely disagree with everything he was saying, but I thought he was sort of underwhelmed with the Patriots' performance. And he was talking about
no different than it's been.
And they asked him a very pointed question about who would you rather have, Shane Waldron, who just got fired by the Bears as their offensive coordinator, or Van Pelt. And Greg couldn't make up his mind. I think at one point he said the bullet. I'll take the bullet.
Take
he wanted
what?
The bullet. I want neither one of these. So I thought that was pretty critical of Van Pelt. I mean, the other guy just lost his job.
Yeah.
They haven't scored a touchdown, in 2.5 games.
Yeah.
The longest streak, I think it's 23 drives in a row without a touchdown. It's the longest active streak in the NFL, and he just lost his job.
Right.
And you're saying that there's no difference between that and Van Pelt, who I thought, I guess, I didn't watch it close enough. I like to take a back seat to the all 22 guys. I thought he had some interesting little wrinkles that he put out there on Sunday. They didn't all work.
No.
They didn't score a lot of points. They didn't move the ball, and they didn't score points as well as you'd like. But I did think it was a little bit more creative and a little bit better. They ran the ball better.
I mean, Van Pelt's job is, I don't know the situation in Chicago in terms of how it's set up. Is Waldron the quarterback developer as well as the offensive coordinator? It seems like that's the case here. So you have to separate the two. And I think as a former quarterback in the NFL, I think AVP would have a leg up on Waldron in terms of just developing a quarterback to be ready to play in the NFL, because he's done it. As far as the play calling, that I don't know, but it seems to me that it's something that Van Pelt could improve on the more he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the other part of it, how to develop a quarterback for the NFL, I mean, where do you get the experience to do that unless you've done it before? And I don't mean just playing. I mean having developed a quarterback before.
Yeah, I just, I'm not telling you that I think Alex Van Pelt is the next Shanahan or McVay, or anything. But I think given the limitations they've have offensively, the offensive line has been in flux virtually all season.
Well, that's the thing.
They have no real, difference-making wide receivers. Is that fair enough?
Fair enough, yeah.
I mean, no difference. They have a couple of guys that have made some plays here and there, but they have no real difference makers. And he's putting it together. Listen, they're at the bottom.
Yeah.
Mike and Tony went to great lengths to say, when you finish in the bottom 5, bottom 10, in yards, points,
right,
in all these offensive categories, and that's where the Patriots are. I think they're 31st right now in the league.
But I can tell you one thing. If Drake Maye had started from week 1, they wouldn't be 31st.
Yeah, they'd be about 29th.
No.
I did it yesterday, so yes.
Yeah, but all those games with Brissett would have been played with Maye, and the production.
No, I'm just telling you the 5 games. I'm doing the.
Oh, you're just doing the 5 game. Okay,
yeah, it's been worth about another 3.5 points, which is significant.
No, but
that's another field
what
goal
I'm saying, if
about another 60 yards.
Yeah, But if you add in, if Drake had been playing from the beginning, I guarantee you that
he'd be playing better.
he'd have been playing better by now, and I think overall they wouldn't be the bottom of the league.
Much like you convinced me on the offensive lineman argument at the end of the show yesterday.
Yeah.
I would totally agree with that.
Because
I think if he had played every game, you'd be getting a better version of Drake May right now.
Yeah, because
not just the version of
those
the last
Brissett
5
games were don't make mistakes.
So
it wasn't about moving the ball all over the field.
Yeah, here's
you
the
know?
thing. The numbers for Brissett are a little bit. I mean, here's where I'm going to be a little defensive for Brissett.
Yeah.
I don't think he played great, but
No, he played like
there
Jacoby
was-
Brissett.
there was one game against the Jets that was an absolute train wreck.
Yep.
That Thursday night game, they scored 3 points. They had like 120. Like that really knocks Brissett's numbers down. Otherwise, it's been pretty similar when Brissett plays and when May plays. So a little bit better for May. He throws for about, I think it's about 80 more yards per game. So they throw better when May plays. They ran better when Brissett played.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
but they basically
Yeah.
through the 10 games now, it's kind of split 5-5.
That's true. That first game against
It's like 159 passes for Brissett, 154 or something like that, or 150 for May.
Yeah.
So it's pretty similar. May's been better.
Yeah.
May's been better.
Yeah.
Like across the board.
Yeah. And he would be
except for turnovers.
Yeah. Well, that's a big thing. That's why you had Jacoby Brissett in there early.
Yeah, I think Brissett had 2 turnovers. May has 7.
Yeah. All right.
Counting the fumbles.
But like you said, how do you come down on an offensive coordinator when you're also admitting that the offensive line hasn't been good, the wide receivers, there's really no one there that stands out, that keeps up any defensive coordinator asleep at night. I mean, from sleeping at night, because you just don't have those playmakers. And so is it fair to judge AVP based on the talent? You can't have both. You can't say that the talent's terrible, and the offensive coordinator is terrible. Well, how do you know?
Yeah, I would totally agree. And I just feel like there were some signs on Sunday. I know we all tend to make a lot of, like, I was sort of mocking like how much we made out of the Schooler thing, right? So I'm doing the same thing now with the little goal line play.
Yeah.
I forget who the color analyst was in the game the other day. Was it Daryl Johnston?
Yeah,
I think.
Daryl Johnston.
He really did a great job of sort of explaining how that sequence was set up
Right.
on the goal line, where they had Polk
Same play to
sort
the
of
other
in
side.
line on a
Yep.
run play on the other side, and
Yep.
sort of tricked the Bears into thinking same formation, same plays coming to the other side, only this time it was a pass, and you get the guy uncovered.
Yep.
So I thought there was some wrinkle to that. I thought the play to Austin Hooper, which kind of kickstarted the offense, it was really the best play of the first half until the very last drive. That 28-yard pass from May to Hooper, I think that was a scheme play.
Yep.
That
Now these are things
that
that
May made a great throw on.
I mean, like,
by the way.
but and let's not go crazy. These are things that every offensive coordinator should be able to do.
Right, and that's why I
mean,
said I'm guilty of making a little too
Right.
much out of these things too. But I'm pointing it out because I've seen a little bit of progress.
Yeah.
I've seen them sort of, Dan Orlovsky likes to say it's the difference between calling plays and having an idea of what you're doing. It's not just calling plays for the sake of calling plays. You're sequencing.
There's a
plays.
rhyme. There's a method to the madness. And understanding the flow of the game, understanding what's already been called, where the matchups are, everything. There is an art to it, as Andy used to say. Andy
Commanders
Hart.
Eagles on Thursday night, huh?
What's that?
Commanders
That's
Eagles Thursday night.
A rare division game that you like.
A rare
in prime
division
time.
game on Thursday nights. You hardly ever
Yeah.
see any of those.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
They're all division games.
I know. I'm only kidding.
I'm the only one that doesn't really love division games.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I am
You
alone
are.
on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably wrong.
Because maybe
like I am most of the time.
over the years it was always AFC East that you were looking at it.
Well, I like matchups like this one, Patriots-Rams, that you see when was the last time we
Yeah,
played?
you don't.
We played the
So
Rams.
do you like it when the
2020?
AL plays the NL in baseball?
See, I used to like interleague play, but now every team plays everybody every year, so now it's not special
It's not
anymore.
a big deal anymore.
But I would rather see, I'd rather see the Red Sox play like the Dodgers in a 3-game series than for the 5th time a 3-game series with
Toronto.
the Yankees.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
know?
Yeah. Although every time they play the Yankees, it's Fox and ESPN have two
every
of the
time.
games.
Yeah.
You know.
So you like
Anyway.
the division games though, as a general rule.
It depends if both teams are playing well, like in this case.
Yeah, this would be one that I'd be
Yeah.
interested in. Last week's was obviously a really good game with Cincinnati and Baltimore. Pittsburgh-Baltimore games will be worth watching coming up. They haven't played yet.
Yeah.
And those two
Well,
are at the
No,
top.
I have
of
to
the
admit,
AFC North.
I'm not interested in Saints Falcons. Like
It's a bloodbath.
yeah. I mean, for them, it's a big rivalry, but
Right.
I don't really care about it.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
I see that twice a year, every year. I don't need to see the Bears and Packers play for the, 197th time.
All right, so getting back to the Patriots, that was a big topic today with Gerard, and like you said, also stacking up wins. So if they win, this week, it'll be the first time they've won back-to-back games this season.
Yes.
So it's a big deal,
Yeah.
and
I don't think they did last year either. The Pittsburgh-Denver games, they weren't consecutive, were they?
Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, come on,
Sorry.
if I can't remember.
Sorry.
I mean,
If
if
only
you
there was a
can't
way I could
remember,
look
how
that
can
up.
I? But I do think this game is winnable, even being now 4.5 point underdogs.
So is there a game that you don't think is winnable? Because I don't have any games that I don't
The
think are
game in
winnable.
Buffalo
Yeah,
might
it's
not
winnable
be.
to me.
Really, even that game.
Yeah, because the other team could always not play well, and you could win.
Well, okay, but I see what you're saying. Anyone can beat anyone on any
Right.
given day.
I mean,
but I
did
mean-
anybody think that the Broncos had any chance to beat the Chiefs?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Division. I think I said that when we
I
were
think
picking.
all games are winnable in the
Yeah.
NFL. I think there's not really a huge difference, and if one team doesn't have it,
Okay,
I
but
think the other team can win.
let's just say then let's qualify it. A better chance than usual to win this. For a 5.5 point underdog.
Okay, so why do you think that?
I just don't think the Rams are playing that well. That's why.
Well, they had been until Monday.
Yeah,
They had
but
won 3 in a row.
their offense has been up
It's
and
been
down.
very good
It's been
since-
hot and cold.
But since Cup and Nakua came back, it's been very good
Yeah,
until again Monday night.
yeah.
Now who knows? Maybe that's what they are. Maybe they're back to not being so good. But before that, they had 30 at Seattle, not an easy place to play. I think they had 26 in another game. They've missed most of the season. Those two receivers, you know
Yeah,
that, right?
I need to see the context of those points.
Okay,
That's
that's true. They did have a pick 6 in the Seattle game.
Right.
They're just off the top of my head. You're
Yeah.
right.
So, but
But I think even in the game the other night, moved the ball into the red zone, couldn't get touchdowns. Like if you get touchdowns, it's a whole different game.
But they didn't get the touchdowns because of their own mistakes, I think.
yeah.
they
So
were-
maybe they don't. That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
can lose if you
Yeah.
don't play well.
Right. So I don't know. I just get the sense that this is a winnable game for the Patriots.
Yeah. There wasn't consecutive games last year.
Yeah.
So it'd be the first time.
In 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously the bookies think the Rams have the advantage, even going cross country.
Yeah. The rookies.
And I would agree.
The
if-
bookies thought Chicago had the advantage,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think they were like a 5-point favorite too,
Is that right? They were up there that much?
something like that.
Yeah. So we'll see. That's why they play the games. But I think, everyone's on Stafford. I think Stafford's been fine. I don't think he's the issue.
I don't think
Or
everyone
He
was.
wasn't the issue, certainly in that last game.
I thought just based on the highlights that I saw, he didn't look like he was very sharp. I thought he missed
Yeah, 'cause-
on one of those incompletions in the end zone. I thought he missed. Kyron Williams was pretty open at the goal line. But then you guys, who actually watched the game,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
didn't,
No, I
you
mean-
guys said that it wasn't on
Yeah,
Stafford.
it wasn't
was like
perfect, but
protection and
he certainly
some
did enough to
breakdowns.
win that game.
So
Yeah.
I would say that if the Patriots are going to win this game, you're going to need some turnovers from the Rams, some help from the Rams.
Yeah.
If the Rams play reasonably well, I think that they would win the game. Don't you think?
Yeah. How are they in generating pressure on the quarterback? Because that's a big topic.
They have a lot of different guys with sacks, but they don't have like the one big guy.
Yeah.
They're all young guys.
Yeah.
They have Braden Fisk and Jared Verse are like their first and second round. Verse was the
Verse
first
is
round
doing
pick.
really well. I know
They-
that.
They're both doing well.
Yeah.
They have, I think, Byron Young is a second-year guy. These guys all have like 4 and 5 sacks. They have like 5 guys with like 3, 4, 5 sacks. but they don't have anybody with like 11 sacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't have like Trey Hendrickson on the outside that's dominating. But I think that's a young defense that really struggled early in the year and has been better lately.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Will Drake Maye have time? I don't want him running around. I want him to be able to be on schedule, and you know,
I just want to make sure I'm not messing up names.
You know, have the time to hit these receivers, because as much as we love watching him run, we need to see the offense, you know, perform as it's drawn up.
Yeah,
you know,
Byron Young is the second-year guy that I was thinking of off the edge. Yeah, he's played pretty well too. They're coming into their own. They've had some injuries, and some of those guys up front are coming back. This will be a tough game unless the Rams, you know, just completely lay an egg, which could happen.
Yep.
Chicago just did. You know, these things happen. But
And
they have, I don't have the latest update here. Yeah, five sacks for Turner, 5 sacks for Young, 4 sacks for Verse, 3 sacks for Fisk, 3 for Hayes. Yeah, they have like five guys with 3 or more sacks. That's a lot.
yeah.
But I don't think it's a team that's necessarily built on, well, we're just going to – they don't have Aaron Donald. Let's put
Right.
it that way.
I think when you have a creative offensive coordinator / coach like Maye is, I think that trickles down to the defense. You know, some of that creativity kind of rubs off, and I think that's what you see in the distribution of the pressure. You know, they probably dial up things and bring it from different areas, and, you know, have been relatively successful doing that.
Yeah, and they've been able to create – like the secondary is not like statistically has not been good, but they do take the ball away a little bit.
Yeah.
So, again, got to protect the ball.
So on the other side of the ball, you know, I think it was a great game for a lot of, you know, second, you know, guys that didn't start this season as starters and have been thrust in that position for the Patriots. The question was it real? How much of it was the Bears? You know, and I think this is a great test for that, because you're going to be stressed. They've got the Rams have talent in different areas. So it's not like you can just take out one guy and, okay, now the offense collapses. No, they've got a lot of talent in different areas. So if the defense can come close to last week's performance, I mean, that's
But I do agree with you in that it's winnable, because I don't think the Rams are quite there yet.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they've done a good job, I think, of rebuilding on the fly.
Yep.
And they've really turned over the defense. But I don't think it's a team that you just look at and say, well, you know, they're going to win this game. They're going to win that game. You know, they were life and death with the Raiders a few weeks back.
Yeah.
You know, they've played better, but they've also struggled.
I mean, what's
at
the record
times.
now? 4-6.
4-5.
4-5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who they are.
Right.
You know.
Now, they are that because of the mass of injuries they had in the first month and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, they played some of those games with literally no. They were 1-4 because nobody was.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like 3 linemen, 2 receivers.
Well, we're
out
not
on
making
offense.
excuses for injuries.
No, I'm just
like
saying-
we don't hear.
But when those guys came back, they won.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like, to me, that's the difference.
Yeah. Okay.
When their personnel is on the field, they've generally won.
Except for
Monday. Right. And
Yeah.
you said that they just made mistakes in the
Oh,
red
I
zone.
think they shot them
and
constantly.
I would absolutely defer to you because I
Yeah.
didn't see it.
Yeah. No, I think they were their own worst enemy in that game.
So I think you're going to need something like that
Yeah.
to win again. That's kind of
Yeah.
the point.
And
I'm
obviously,
getting
I
at.
was rooting for the Rams, so I was getting more frustrated because I wanted them to beat the Dolphins.
I'm curious as to why.
I just don't like the Dolphins. I
Okay.
want them to
Good enough.
lose.
Hate for no reason.
Yeah, it's not like
I like it.
I'm saying, oh, you know, the Patriots are battling for positioning for the playoffs against the Dolphins. No, I just wanted the Dolphins to
Well,
lose.
I didn't know if maybe you were doing that whole it's better to play the team that you're going to play coming off a win than a loss. A lot of people buy that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a big fan
I
of
wasn't thinking of that. No.
I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's better that they maybe now look back and go, well, maybe we're not that good. Maybe we are the 1-4 team. Maybe
Yeah.
they have some doubt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but both teams, you know, because it's good scouting for the Patriots because they have those teams back to back. Both those teams did not play well. It wasn't good football.
Oh, the Dolphins defense played well, but they didn't move the ball very well in
No.
that game, did they?
They really didn't.
They did have that good drive at the end.
And I will say that Tua at some times was inaccurate, but he was let down by his receivers too. I mean there was one. There was
numbers were great.
Downfield. Waddle had at least a 30-yard should have been catch right through his hands, hit him in the helmet. I mean,
Wow.
it was
Not
awful.
like him either.
Yeah. So we'll see. This is going to be an interesting 2 weeks, but I would love to just get that 2 games in a row, a win at home. Gillette Stadium has ceased to be the big advantage it used to be in terms of home field advantage. So it would be great to just get another home win this year.
Yeah.
Against a good team, have a little momentum going down to Miami. A tough place to play for the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what the state that the Dolphins are in that game. I don't give them much of a shot in that one.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colts
Well,
went back and made a quarterback change.
yeah, back to Richardson.
So you can pencil that one in. That's a W.
Well, I think either one. I think Flacco.
I think there's a big difference if Flacco plays.
Not
Flacco
the way he's
plays,
been
you can
playing.
throw. Against Minnesota,
Yeah.
you don't have that. Like you can't. Why don't you watch the other games that he played?
Yeah. No, he's been getting worse. I'm not worried about Joe Flacco.
But you don't have to.
I don't
He's
have
not,
to now.
He's not playing.
So now you have to worry about a guy who's going to run around a little bit.
He can't play yet. He's
No.
not ready.
No.
He can't throw. It's kind of a tricky. That's a kind of a
You
requirement.
kind of have to do that
Kind of
as a
requirement.
quarterback.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like when Costanza wanted to be like the announcer.
Yeah.
Made the witty comments.
Yeah.
You kind of had to have done that.
It's interesting because last year when he started, he wasn't playing poorly, Richardson, until he got hurt.
Yeah, but most of what he was doing was just kind of being an athlete.
Yeah. But that was his thing coming out of college. They knew he was raw. He was.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was weird that, first of all, I never would have taken him that high.
Yeah.
But I thought it was weird that they gave him the starting job right out of the chute.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think.
I mean, they almost made the playoffs with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. I
And
think
he stinks.
I think the Colts is a game you should win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Can I change should to could?
Could.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
But you
just,
say
that's me.
you say every game is could.
But I think that they have a better chance in that game than the other
Okay.
the other 7
Oh,
remaining.
I agree with that.
That's the best chance for a win out of the 7 remaining,
Yes, I agree.
in my view.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you they're only going to win one game. I'm
Nope.
just saying that's the best odds I would give them. And largely because of Anthony Richardson. I just don't think he's ready to win.
So if the Patriots end up with 5 wins this season, is this a better season than last season?
Sure.
Okay. Because
Because you're playing a rookie quarterback.
I heard some. Yeah, I heard.
I think
somebody,
you have hope for the future.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, provided that I would feel better about it if he played better than he did Sunday.
Yeah.
Like if they win all the games like they did Sunday, I won't feel as good about it.
Yep.
But I'll still feel better about it than last year
Yeah.
because you have a rookie quarterback and you're on the way up.
Yeah.
Like, can't you feel like? And I know I'm probably being corny. Can't you feel like a difference between the way
Oh God, yeah.
people sort of have responded to Drake Maye's presence than last year?
Well,
Like
Last year
there's
was
no one talking about, wow, look at these wins. Like, this is great. No one was talking like that.
last year was just a terrible feeling overall. It wasn't just Mac Jones. It was just the whole feeling of the team. It was just
Yeah,
not good.
but I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Is Drake May
Well, now
and
you're-
Mac Jones.
yeah,
'Cause
now there's
everything else
hope.
is largely the same.
Yeah. And
I
you,
think.
you just felt like you were just playing it out last year, and nobody was talking to everybody. It was just,
I know
mommy and daddy were fighting.
Some some people probably felt like, well, if you could get Mac Jones 2 top receivers and fix the offensive line, and they could do all this. I didn't.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have any hope.
Right.
But now I do have hope.
Yeah.
Because I think that if you do plug in with the right guys, and I'm not saying it would be an overnight fix, but I think if you got him 2 really good receivers, your offensive line theory from yesterday that you sold me on,
Yeah.
like all of a sudden I think you have the makings of having a pretty good offense.
I want to talk about that for a second because I was thinking about something when it comes to offensive line, but the rest of the football intelligence
Agencia.
has caught up with you, Paul.
Caught up with you or me?
You.
Oh, I'm not high
Have
on
you
this.
seen all the praise of Drake May as a person that's come out yesterday?
Oh.
Like you were. I think they're listening to you, but all the stuff about him as a good guy, a great leader. Like
I just.
Oh yeah, it was.
I'm not saying any of that. I'm just telling you that I watched this guy. I haven't spoken to him by my, aside from the day that we had him on the show.
right.
I think that's probably the only time that we've individually spoken to him. I just like the way he
No,
carries himself.
and the rest of the league agrees.
I don't know what it says about him being a great leader. Like, I don't think any of that. I'm not ready to say. Well, that is
Yeah.
fact. Like, I don't know about how any of that's going to play out.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, I like him, and I know that sounds so
Yeah.
corny, but I like him.
And I think the team likes him. I think his coaches like him, and now these analysts across the league are
Even
saying the
today,
same
he's
thing.
talking about being more productive offensively in the red zone, and that starts with me. I can't throw an interception. The interception wasn't even in the red zone.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But he's bringing up his mistake.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
I like that.
I have a feeling that when it comes to offensive line, we're going to have a lot of good discussions in the offseason as we get close to the draft and how the Patriots should use their money and their assets and all that stuff. But tell me if you agree with this.
Uh-oh.
If you have 5 good linemen, not great, 5 good linemen, you can have an elite line
You'll be fine. Yeah, absolutely.
in the NFL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need an elite line. Let me can just state that
No.
emphatically.
Yeah,
I just can't have guys that can't get in the way. I
Right.
can't have what I saw Chicago do Sunday.
Right. But I'm
like, have you seen much of a worse performance by a line than that?
yeah. But no, it was awful. The whole thing was
Like,
terrible.
it can't be like that.
What I'm trying to say is, to me, it's more important to have 5 good guys than have 1 or 2 really good guys and then the rest stink.
Well, the Chiefs do it that way.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have a couple of outstanding linemen, and the other 2 stink.
And what's their point production this year?
I don't know. They're 9-0.
I know, but they're not. Come on, be honest now.
I'm just telling you,
They're
the
not winning
offensive
with their
line isn't
offense.
holding them back.
No, but their defense is really
But what
improved.
is holding them back
Nothing.
offensively?
Nothing's.
Nothing.
Well,
Not
they're-
the fact that they're all out.
No, but they're 9-0.
How's Rashee Rice playing?
Well,
How's Isaiah Pacheco playing?
I don't know, but I'm just saying their
Like-
point production's down.
That's why. I'm telling you why, because their skill position guys aren't playing.
Okay, but I'm saying that I'd rather have 5 good guys than 1 or 2 great, and then the rest stink.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that the best team in football has 3 really good linemen on the inside and 2 absolutely terrible tackles.
And the greatest player in the game.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'll take the greatest player in the game.
But
That's how the
I
Patriots
know,
did.
but you
that's
can't
how
always
the,
count on
but
that.
that's how the Patriots did it for 20
I know,
years.
but
I like that
but
model.
I'm not assuming that.
I'm not like Mike Dussault.
No,
I like
no,
having the
but
best
that's
player
not,
ever.
But that's not fair. And
I know it's not fair,
that's
but
not
it's
fair.
fun.
I think even
Why
when
can't it be
I
fun?
Think, no, but I think even during the dynasty there were times where our line wasn't that great.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like I don't need to
So-
have. I agree
so,
with you. I don't need to have an
yeah,
elite
barring
line.
the greatest player in the game.
I don't need an
as
elite line.
Yeah, but I need a good line.
No, I don't.
Oh,
I just can't have them be traffic cones.
okay. So then you're with me then. Maybe we should.
That's what I said. You sold me.
Okay.
I said at the end of the show yesterday.
Yeah.
You really the more you talked about it, because I've sort of no, I got to take my medicine. I'm not a big line guy, but they got to get a left tackle. And then you kept talking about it, and I was like, he's not wrong. I was thinking to myself the whole time, this is like the first time I've ever been in an argument with you.
Yeah.
And thinking to myself, I'm losing. Fred's beating me.
But more importantly than getting that blue chipper is having a good line coach and drafting or getting the right guys.
Yeah.
They don't have to be elite.
Yeah, you need to have a good line,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be elite. I totally agree with you. I think Detroit is great. Listen, it's great to have Penei Sewell. He's a great tackle.
Yeah.
And I think any team would take him. I just don't think you have to have that level of a lineman in order to have a successful
Right.
offense.
Right.
You just can't have a terrible line.
Right.
Like Cincinnati and Kansas City back-to-back years went all the way to the Super Bowl with the absolute worst offensive lines in football. Back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
Now, they lost in the Super Bowl. I get it. Like Felger would tell me, well, what did they win? Okay.
Well, he goes back and forth on
Kind of
that
like
conversation.
Randy Moss. You
Yeah.
could never win anything with Randy Moss because,
Oh,
They
but
lost.
he got caught in a contradiction the other day because he was talking about, I'd rather be the Steelers because every year they're in it. Every year they're in it.
Yeah.
But then he makes fun of the Bruins over in the past because they get to the playoffs and then they lose. So
yeah, he likes because whatever's the anti-Boston
Right,
stance.
right.
You know, like Pittsburgh. Now, I don't know. Maybe this year is different for Pittsburgh. Maybe Russell Wilson is playing a little bit better than he has, and he's putting them over the top a little bit. I don't know. I haven't watched enough specifically. I wasn't overly impressed with Wilson's first start against the Jets.
No, but he's produced.
Maybe he's done. Maybe he's doing better than what I saw last year, and maybe he's the missing ingredient. But Pittsburgh, the last 3 or 4 years, you can take that. I have no interest in that. Like being a middling team that finds a way because they're well coached to win enough to squeak in the playoffs and get, you know, bounced out in the first round. Like I don't need that.
Yeah.
Every year. Now I'm not telling you. Like right now, I take that in a heartbeat. You want to tell me that the path is there for the Patriots, and all of a sudden they go 5-2 down the stretch and squeak into the playoffs somehow
you take
at
that.
8-9? I'd take that.
But eventually you got to get over the hump.
But I don't want that 4 years in a row,
no.
and that's what Pittsburgh has been.
Yeah, but like you said with Russell Wilson.
Speaking of mediocrity,
whoa.
Who's back from the locker room? What was the mood? Were the players friendly to that? None of them looked like Derrick Henry. Hey Mike, what was it like in the locker room? Hey Mike, what was it like in the locker room?
All right, Mike, as you can see, we've already talked a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll give the floor to you.
Oh, thank you. No, very busy day today in
Busy?
the locker room. Yeah,
How
there were a
you
lot of
busy?
guys. A lot of guys talking. It's pretty good. We heard from Yannick Ngakoue. Kind of impressed by him. He just I know we talked about, does this guy want to come here? I mean, Mike Reese asked him directly, you're going from a team that was winning a lot to a team that isn't. He doesn't seem to care. He just seems like he's locked in. He's happy to be here. I would put my SFG, serious football guy, moniker on him. He seems like he's all business.
When you
and
say
ready
you're
to-
impressed, I thought you might say in a Derrick Henry type.
No, Fred, come on, that's ridiculous.
imagine if we had a guy in the locker room that looked like Derrick Henry.
It was a former Raven, all right, but yeah, at the same time,
Mike would camp out.
but no, just he just seems no nonsense, veteran kind of guy, gets it. The question was, were you surprised at all? He's like, no, this is the NFL. So good responses, quick, direct. Was kind of the vibe I got from him. So maybe write a little bit about him today. We heard from Joe Cardona, talked about the Notre Dame Navy game coming up in 2 years. So he's excited for that. A little bit about Veterans Day. Jelani Tavai, who was dubbed Father of the Year already. I'm like, the guy's been a father for a week. I'm like, guys like us maybe take that a little personally. But huge week for him. He was just still seemed like he was kind of spinning, as any parent knows. Those early days are a little rough there when you got the baby, not a lot of sleep. Still catching up.
Joey Slide,
who
new
else?
dad too.
Joey Sly's a new dad as well, so a couple new babies there. Jonathan Jones talking a little bit as well, just as breaking down the locker room at the end. Asked a little bit about that, playing the safety role a little bit.
I was going to say, well, how did he?
That was
did
a piece
he
of
talk
that.
about that.
Yeah, and he had a good little tidbit about that, which is what the first time they had him do it, he said, was in the Super Bowl against the Rams, which was kind of interesting. So he brought that up, and then there was one more guy, Jalen Hawkins as well. So another another one of the defensive guys, and I think they're all echoing the theme from Gerard Mayo this week, which is we got to try to stack 2 games together, 2 wins together. I think the quote that Jalen Hawkins was using is that old keys don't work on new doors, so we have to find the new keys to open the new doors. I think was was what they're using. That's a little tidbit, but yeah, a bunch of guys talking. I think I mentioned Pop Douglas too was the last one that closed it out. So good group. Good cross section.
Any
offense,
weather
defense.
talk?
No, not yet. They did seem a little bit bundled up, I would say, because it was a little chilly out there today. But no, nobody seemed too worse for it. It seemed like Jalen Hawkins was maybe a little under the weather though. So maybe that's something to watch with the locker room.
Hawk.
Yeah, come on, Hawk, get healthy, guy.
Check yourself.
But yeah, no, I think Ngakoue was the biggest, made the biggest impression on me. I was just being a new guy, and
Do you think he has a chance to play this weekend?
I do. I mean, I think with
I would think
Dietrich Wise, we usually hear from
Oh, that's
Dietrich
right.
Wise
Yeah,
on these days.
He hurt his ankle.
He
a
hurt
little
his
bit.
ankle.
Yeah.
We said after the game he was okay. Saw Reese kind of speculating on Twitter a little bit that maybe there's something up with him. So, I mean, that's what Ngakoue does. I know, known as a pass rusher, but he's a defensive end like Wise is. So I could easily see him. They might have to throw him, right in the fire, which wouldn't be a bad. I don't know, why not? Throw him in there, see what he's got. So yeah,
No,
we'll
I
see.
mean, you have him. You might as well use him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
I know
Smoke
it was
if you got
listed,
him.
Personal. It was listed as why he was out last week.
Who was
Ngakwe.
Ngakwe was up
so it
first,
wasn't
wasn't
like an injury or anything like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he
he
also
practices during the week. I would expect him to be up on
Yeah,
as they say. He should be up.
Yeah, one other buzzword was all 3 downs. He said, just that was something that. What did the coaches talk to you about? Come in, make an impact on all 3 downs. So
He's got to play all 3 downs. This
Yeah.
is like back to the we're talking about. Fred's been talking about like so many guys thrust into roles that they probably didn't envision. Jeremiah Farms playing
Yeah.
so well on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's,
yeah,
Yeah. Del Pettis.
tough times. Del Pettis, another one.
yeah. So no, good day. It was active. I mean, it just feels like got a lot of guys talked, and a little bit just feels a little bit more juice to the team. I mean, we spent a bunch of weeks back to back after losses, and it's kind of the same thing. And I think everybody was sick of being on that treadmill. So it's nice to just change it up a little bit and see a team with a little confidence, a little bit more belief in themselves, and now trying to get another.
I
one.
heard you on your appearance on one of Paul's shows
Yeah.
this morning.
Oh yeah.
I like how
I did hear him.
Fred says, we have him on because he's a friend of Hardy's.
I know, he always said that. This is his friend. I'm like, what am I?
Worked shoulder
Hardy
to shoulder
insists
with
on you
Hardy.
having him on.
I know, right? He doesn't know anything. No,
But he was interacting with you a little bit more this week than he normally
Fred,
does.
I
Fred
feel like
was.
I'm making
You're
some
wearing him
connections
down?
with Fred. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think. I mean, you guys know me. I'm always ready to joke and have a sense of humor about stuff, and he seems like he has like great rants, and so I don't know.
Well, he likes movies, so
yeah.
the fact that
Music,
you were in Hollywood and all
right?
that.
I haven't impressed him with that yet. I don't think, but
I'm sure Hardy told him.
But yeah, it's always every time I go on there. I
Do
feel
you
like
do a
Hardy-
Zoom call? Or do you
I
just
use
do
the
a-
Zoom audio.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. They
So
don't.
he
Want, they don't
can't-
want
they
this
So you're
on.
not on Twitch with
No,
them?
they
You
don't
can't
want.
see how physically
whatever
handsome
they
I
they
know
are.
you don't. I don't. I mean, they're lost, right, Paul?
What are they on
Correct.
YouTube?
I don't know.
'Cause
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah,
they're
they're
not
live
on
on
NBC Sports
because
Boston.
he always says YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Fred always calls it YouTube.
That's good. See, funny stuff. But no, I appreciate those guys having me on. It's always a little stressful though. Like you wake up and you're like, I gotta be on the radio in 20 minutes. I gotta like find the energy, But no, it's good. It's good. I like those guys.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's always a good way to kick off my commute.
Well, yeah.
I
Dudes.
click on
Oh,
click on the
jeez.
radio and
Here we go.
And as soon as like right at the very beginning today, usually it's like in the middle. I'm like, hey, I know that voice.
Do you find it funny though, Paul, when you do when you go? I know you're going Felger and Mass later today, but sometimes I feel like I'm like, oh crap, I'm playing the hits off of PU right now. Like it's like I've already workshopped this take. Like you just kind of go to what you've already
How many new
said.
things are you going to come up with?
Yeah,
Number one, I always find it funny that. Like Andy and I used to joke around all the time. Did you happen to hear me yesterday? And we would always say, no.
Yeah.
Well, what? I listen to you every day. I don't need to hear what you have to say.
Right.
Like I know what you have to say.
Well, that's because I know you guys have commutes. So I'm always, when I go on, I'm always assuming you guys are tuning in, and I'm just imagining you
Right.
guys being like, oh yeah, dude, that's what you said yesterday.
Yeah,
Like, come up,
secondary is
get some
great.
new
No, but
material.
it's true. It's a new audience, really. I
Yeah.
mean, there is some crossover,
Yep.
but most of the people listening did not listen to us.
No.
in this particular week, and I know that people tease us like the
Yeah.
whole sunshine.com thing, but in this particular week, it is a little bit easier to do it because you're talking about more things that went well
Yeah.
than have typically been the case this year. So it
Longhorn
makes
package.
that's one of them. I know I really misspoke. He played 2 plays in the first half, right? I know I lied.
Well, there you go.
I was called out on my lies, according to somebody on Twitter.
I was like, it was
but-
5 snaps. I just don't care, buddy.
I still don't. But I mean, fair is fair. I lied. Didn't recall the first 2 plays. But you don't have to go out of your way to sort of manufacture.
I know.
You know, it was really good. Like the blocking on the punt. On the punt return, there were a lot of things that were really good in the game. They get 9 sacks. They shut down DeAndre Swift. You talking about the secondary being really tight. Yeah. Joey Sly making 4 field goals in tough conditions. The offense showing some wrinkles. The goal line play to Jalen. You don't have to make any of that up.
Just blowing the trumpet.
So it makes it a lot easier for us to sort of talk on these shows.
Yeah. Paul and I were talking before you got here about Mayo's press conference today. He was mentioning that AVP deserves a lot of credit for the development so far of Drake Maye. I don't know if you heard any of that, if you had a reaction to it.
I was there next to Paul. No, I think nobody's caught more criticism than AVP maybe. The hiring of him, the whole thing. We had it here on our show for 6 months, figuring out tight pants guy or what kind of offense it is. So I just think the bottom line for me is that the players really seem to like him. I mean, you saw Hunter Henry kind of light up a little bit talking about him as well. So I don't know. It's just it's so hard. Like, he's a really experienced guy. He's played in the NFL, and I think that's worth a lot to the players. And, look, if Drake, I think going back to, like, what we kind of got into yesterday, like if Drake continues to improve and the mistakes start to come down, and then you really get a sense of what this offense is, because I feel like over these first, whatever it is, like 11 weeks, you've been seeing little pieces of it. But even going back to the locker room, just hearing from these guys talking about the Rams offense, which kind of similar thing. Jonathan Jones saying it all starts with the run. It all starts with the run for these guys. If they get running on you, it's going to open up their whole offense. And the Patriots haven't been able to run, and I think it's a similar thing with their offense where, if they can get a game where they put it all together, maybe you'll actually get to see what Alex Van Pelt and this offense is capable of. And there's no guarantee that it happens. I mean, there's 7 games left, but I think that's what they're working towards. And I think if they do that, and you see Drake cut down on the mistakes, and you start to see some of the plays, like Paul says, where that was a Patriots play. That was a real play. That was in real, and all of a sudden it's like we had a bunch of those today. I think that's when people will really start to, believe in AVP.
That's as much, like I said earlier, as much as I love watching him run around and everything, I do want to see more plays on schedule.
Yeah.
The way they were drawn up. Obviously the offensive line has a lot to do with that, but that's the next step, I think, for him. We need to see that. And, of course, the turnovers. Let's eliminate the mistakes. But seeing that offense run as it's drawn up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you've seen a little, like I said, peaks in here and there.
Yeah.
Where, there was one.
We can do it.
There was one.
Like, you've seen it done.
Yeah,
so now I want to see it
like,
consistently.
let's see a bunch. Maybe at the end of the year we get a full game of them, and it's like, oh my God, this is like it's all working together. As Jonathan Jones described the Rams' offense of all the bootlegs and all the play actions and the run, and the linebackers are over committing, and it just opens up that whole playbook. So we'll see if the Patriots are able to get to that point.
855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. That's 855-PATS-500. Let's go to the TPX hotline, and we'll start with Melvin in Tennessee. What's up, Melvin?
What's up, y'all? What's going on?
Hey, Melvin.
Hey, it's funny that we're talking about what we're playing the Rams this week. I talked about this not too long ago with Fred, but I think like Demario Douglas is probably about on the same level. Different players, though. I'm sure Tutu Atwell averages more yards per catch, but I think they're about on the same level. But as far as how good they are, but Tutu Atwell looks so much better when he's really at that 3 role and he has a 1 and 2 in front of him. So we got this kind of exposure with Demario Douglas where he's, been able to see a lot, probably, more coverage and being probably a number 1 and 2-ish, even though he's probably really not that good. So as soon as we do need 2 receivers. So it'll be great once we get those 2 receivers. We can knock them back down, and hopefully Drake and him and this year or whatever, they've been able to establish to get on the same page. So when we need him, he'll be able to come through for us, kind of be a binky or a good receiver he'll have something with. But he's just out of position right now, or maybe a little bit out of his role. Kind of similar to what we had with Jacoby. He kind of found his role, but he was probably a little bit out of his place. But I hope that, once we get to that stage, we kind of have something like Myers, who left before. But I hope that, that we'll be able to establish something by the time we get a good 1 and 2 in front of him. Kind of like Boyd was for Cincinnati a little bit. Still those same receivers, but good exposure, good experience right now. But we need those people in front of him so that he can go back in his proper role.
Yep.
But that's all I got.
I would agree.
All right, thanks, Melvin. Would you guys be into not coming back as a 1, maybe not even as a 2, but bringing back Jacoby Myers next year?
No.
No? Really?
No.
Why not?
Because I think they need better.
I want speed.
I have enough 3, 4, 5s.
Yeah.
I need a guy that impacts
No, but
the game.
but you still get the other guys.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah.
fine. So
Yeah.
who goes? You like him? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words,
Could
he
be-
replaces Booty
You could.
or Douglas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with
Yeah.
that. I mean, I don't think you need to do that. I think you just hold on to Booty and Douglas.
You could get rid of Baker.
Sure, but I just feel like you need a couple of dynamic receivers. Like Atwell
Yeah, but
with the Rams.
But see,
is
Paul,
more
you're,
like
you're not
4 or
thinking
5.
strategically. You're not thinking strategically. If we bring back Myers, we get another listener and his father.
Oh, that's true.
We're growing
That's
our audience.
It's a 2 for 1.
Yeah, right.
That's
It's a
true.
2 for
I mean,
1.
listen, I like
one.
Jacoby Myers from the first day we saw him as an undrafted rookie. You know, I remember Megan O'Brien was like, he's going to end up leading the team in like receiving. And we were like, ha, ha, ha. She was right. Like, we liked him from the start. Like how, you know, he just kept showing up and making plays. And I think he continued to do that until they decided that, you know, it was $1 million too much for them, and he went to the Raiders.
Well, I would hope that
More
maybe,
yards after catch, Paul.
Right.
Well, we deserve
Somehow
to.
they
we
averaged the
deserve
same
to
amount
never,
per reception,
Right.
but one of them was after the catch, so it became better.
Yeah, we deserve not to live that one down.
That's a great hill that I died on. That I was right.
Yeah.
So many others that I was
unlike
wrong
Mount
on.
Cooks, but no, I just would hope that Jalen Polk could develop into that, and maybe that's too far gone at this point. But
I think
that's
Jalen
the player
Polk can
that I
be a
think could be
Tyler
that
Boyd
guy.
kind of guy, like a physical third down receiver who moves the chains.
Yep.
Doesn't
Strong
flash.
ankles.
Not
Yep.
you know, he's not gonna get you like 150 yards when he has a great game, but he might get you 70 for 74 yards,
Yeah.
and
Couple of them were third down conversions.
resulting in three or four conversions.
Yeah.
He can be that kind of guy. I think.
That's where I'm at. I think my philosophy though is speed, like just, and not. He ran a 4.2 at the
but
like
it's
at the
not-
combat,
yeah.
like an electric kind of guy,
Right.
and he doesn't have to be big. I just speed.
But I'd like it to be like not just
Oh,
like
yeah, sure.
Tyquan Thornton's like speed, but you know.
Yeah, it doesn't like that. Doesn't
Skinny
have to
as
be
a rail.
5'8" Tyreek Hill. That's
You know,
a million
can
miles
they
an
get
hour.
someone
but,
like an AJ Brown, you know, or
geez.
Jamar Chase? That like,
Oh, geez.
and I'm not talking about the talent. Obviously,
Just
the talent level is
yeah,
through the
skill
roof.
set.
Justin, you know, those guys. But I mean, a guy big enough to handle that load and
Yeah.
be fast enough to get the defense on its heels. You know,
Yeah.
those kinds of players. I think they badly need.
That's why,
an
like,
impact
when we talk about
receiver.
Travis Hunter, it's like I can't dismiss him because that's the kind of athlete that you want, even if he's going to play defense, you know. But yeah,
I think it's going to be
what
really. I think this is one of the most interesting draft guys coming out in recent memory, just because of where he fits. And
Hard to
everybody thinks he's a better corner, right?
Yeah.
And then, how does that factor into his financials?
Right.
Todd's in
like
North
Evan was talking
Carolina.
about
What's
yesterday.
up, Todd?
Todd.
He's not there. All right. Time to take a break. But first, as always, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the New England Patriots. I should have a Bud Light when I'm doing that. I think it would make it more authentic.
Yeah.
You know, because
Drink it.
I could prove
Right.
that it's easy to drink and easy to enjoy.
Just in the middle of a radio show when
Yeah.
I'm drinking it, you wouldn't even know it.
Are you looking to have a great game day watch party? Become a championship host with Bob's Discount Furniture's Fall Dining Lookbook. Shop party-ready styles perfect for any home, whether you're looking for small space, friendly sets, seating options that will keep you comfy during overtime, or extendable sets ideal for hosting a full lineup of friends. You can even choose from multiple heights, shapes, and colors to match your game day vibe. So stop in, see how much you can save when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. All right, we'll be right back. Lots of emails coming in. We're going to get to those right after this. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
when someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes.
Oh no.
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Frank, a lot of us said this weekend of sense of urgency. That was Gerard's message. How do you take that? And we kind of talked about kind of what you said to your offense after practice one day last week. What kind of things go through your mind as you try to get back-to-back wins for the first time?
Yeah, just build on it from last week. I think, big win in Chicago and a, away game and a big time atmosphere. I remember there was a time I was yelling "Set Hut" for the snap a few times on a fourth down before I called timeout. And they couldn't hear me. So, big win from there and just build on it. Like I said, sense of urgency, what Coach Maye was preaching. I think it starts with cleaning up, from the game Sunday, cleaning up some little things that I think we could have ended up being a bigger margin victory for us, especially offensively. Defense did about all they could, scoring in the red zone, and obviously my turnover. Got to just keep on, these little things that can kind of help build the complementary football that Coach Maye was preaching about. So I think, got another chance here at home, and LA's come off a short week, so I got to prepare for them, and they're good up front on defense, so I'm preparing for them.
How important has Alex Van Pelt been to you this season? How much have you learned from him?
Yeah, it's been huge. I think he's just a confidence booster for a quarterback. You love playing for an offensive quarterback like AVP. He's positive, and also at the same time he'll coach you hard. He's done it. He's played quarterback in this league and at a high level. So he knows what needs to be done and the task. He knows the tall task as well, which is pretty. Him and TC both kind of the quarterback minds and Coach McAdoo. So those three all know it's like how hard it is to play quarterback in this league and give a lot of leeway, but at the same time, know what's needs to be done.
How much better than you were April 28th, whatever the draft was?
Yeah, I think I'm working towards that. I think that's more of a perspective thing. I wouldn't say, with me, I'm just trying to build on every day. I think it's more of a thing for the outside crowd to say. I think I've come a long way within the system, of learning the system, knowing what to do, knowing where guys line up, getting in and out of run checks and pass things. So I think, but I wouldn't say better, just say more comfortable. I think a lot of stuff is coming to tie together. I think still a lot of the same players and still the same player and the same plays that I've made in college making today. So I think just building on, getting more comfortable in this offense, and just growing as a young adult.
You asked a question.
Oh, all right, cool.
You were talking about AVP. What's it like when the film comes up of him in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it's cool. He showed some of his guitar fakes and his play action, and a lot under center, and he threw it well. So he could throw the football. So it's cool seeing. He doesn't throw very much anymore. I think he's only thrown like one time, this season. But seeing him, do some of the same actions or, throwing the same concepts, it's pretty cool, and it's pretty neat. Sitting out there on some old, grainy film. So.
What's the support been like from Jacoby since you took over as a starter, and was it at all difficult to find when to speak up as a leader, knowing he's still a captain and so respected?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think Jacoby's still a big time leader on this football team. Especially he's in my year, and I don't know if y'all see him on the sidelines, but it's basically like he's playing the game over there. He's yelling at me, yelling at the refs on the sidelines. So he's very animated, and that's his personality. I think everybody respects him on this football team. Has a lot of respect, and see what he did in the Jets game. I think that even just raised the bar of him coming in after me being the starter and him coming in and getting a big time win at home. I think those guys just respect him, and he's been a lot to me of just a mentor and just trying to learn everything I can. He's probably tired of me asking questions, but I think he enjoys it, and we enjoy being in the same room together.
Drake, the virtual reality headsets were a bit of a storyline this summer. I was curious, how much did those help you before you actually got to play, and do you still use them now that you're actually out on the field?
Yeah, they give just some of the base concepts and some of the concepts we carry in, week out. A little bit of the 2-minute stuff we have in some of the VR, but the VR has been a nice addition. Thankful to the Patriots organization for getting that and using that, and I think it's some every week just going back to the base stuff, and sometimes we can throw in the different team or the stadium we're playing in and get different looks, so it's pretty cool.
Drake, what do you learned about yourself over the past 5 starts that you've had, first 5 starts of your career?
Learned about myself. I think just battling back from adversity in times in the game, in times in this season. Starting the season, obviously you plan on wanting to be the starter and handle adversity, throughout the locker room or throughout just being on the football team, and then handling adversity when I'm actually in there playing. So just channeling times, difficult times, and bouncing back, and knowing at this position that these guys look to me and and know that I kind of gotta keep a kind of upbeat mindset and upbeat personality, because these guys follow me and listen to me and respect me. So.
Sorry, I know you mentioned as a football fan, getting to face guys like Aaron Rodgers. This week you get to face Matthew Stafford. What is he someone you followed as a kid, and what does he mean to you?
Yeah, it's, Matt Stafford. I think back in the days watching Lions, I felt I always saw him playing on Thanksgiving, and seeing him play is pretty cool with Thanksgiving coming up. So anytime you play a Super Bowl winning quarterback and guy in this league who's done it a long time and play at a high level, it's cool to watch. I think I'll definitely take a moment and always try to watch warm up, see what they do, or see how he's throwing it. I think that's kind of the coolest thing that I try to do. And other than that, just hopefully get a chance to meet him and respect his game, and hopefully you get a chance to come out with a win against a big time quarterback like that. It's always pretty cool feeling.
You asked Gerard Mayo about sliding, and if that's going to be like a point of emphasis. He joked that there might be a sliding period in practice today. Has that been conveyed to you at all from like the coaching staff in terms of just working on sliding and things like that?
Yeah. I wouldn't say working on it. I played baseball growing up, and I've slid, and the one time I slid against the Jets, I got hit in the head. So I think there's times and places for it. I think I definitely do a better job of getting down, taking care of my body, and I know that. I took one in the Bears game that was done with the kind of third quarter. So I'm mindful of it, and the coaches are doing a good job. TC does a nice job of emphasizing it. So I think it's it's kind of different when you're between the lines and you're trying to show your competitive side. So
you don't show a lot of frustration, I guess I would say, in the field. Is not letting your emotions get the best of you, or not showing emotions, something that comes naturally, or is that something you've worked on?
Yeah, I think it's come naturally. Growing up, I think I was always kind of even keel mindset, and at the same time, I think showing frustration at times can be good. Can be good for the offense and can kind of fire those guys up. So kind of mixing and kind of feeling that out of when I could use that, especially in practice. I think getting frustrated and showing, hey, we pick it up is sometimes can be good. So I think just balancing that aspect of it, and at the same time, remind those guys of pumping them up, and that's the thing everybody feels good when you get pumped up. So
on that line, people have talked about having short memory being beneficial during the games. Do you agree? And if so, how do you manage to keep your memory short when it's needed?
Yeah, short memory. That's I think it's one of the biggest things for playing quarterback in this league. I think you see, over this past Sunday, Jared Goff. I think in his game, he uses some turnovers and what he does to come back and lead that football team to a win. I think there's so many times throughout the season you see, quarterbacks, especially at this level, that are handling adversity, and it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough feeling going out there after throwing an interception and jogging back out there, throwing it again. So I think it's something that it's kind of brushed under the rug when you're facing good defense, and you go out there and make a bad play and have to run back out there and facing those same guys and have to throw it again. So I think it's definitely having a short memory, like you said, and just trusting those guys around you. I think our team does a good job, and especially the veterans, and Jacoby has been great on the sideline with plays, and I think just bouncing back and seeing how you bounce back.
Dre, the team released the mic'd up piece with you from the game the other day, and a significant percentage of it was you basically pumping up teammates and encouraging them during the game. Why is that important for you to sort of take time during game day to make sure that you're doing that for your teammates?
Yeah, I think pregame's kind of checking in on the guys, see how they're feeling. I think I was saying a lot of the same things over and over, in the mic'd up. So I kind of try to keep it simple and don't try to bug anybody too much, because everybody's kind of got their own thing on game day. But yeah, I think pumping them up, like I said, everybody feels good when you say, hey, let's go, or hey, nice play, or hey, great job up front. I think little things like that can go a long way, and being the leader on the offense and pumping those guys up.
Did you end up going out to eat with your linemen?
Say it again.
They caught you in the locker room saying, let's go get something to eat tomorrow.
Yeah, we went to something to eat. We got something to eat. What's today? Wednesday. We got something to eat Monday. So.
Did you go anywhere good?
Yeah, we went somewhere. So we went somewhere good. So appreciate it.
Thanks, Drake.
Thank you.
And now, great moments in history.
Steve wants to know, why, Eric, do you hate emailers?
Why does he hate everybody?
He's very.
I don't hate emailers
today too. I
hate bad emailers.
See?
Doesn't like the weather.
Yep.
See?
It's raining. Raining makes Eric a sad boy.
I have to admit.
No,
the fact that I had to
sad
put
boy.
jeans on this morning really got me mad.
Yep.
It's like August and I'm wearing long pants.
Staring at the khaki shorts.
It's
Sorry, guys.
pantalones.
Not today.
It's a good thing I wore them too. It was cold.
And Paul wears mom jeans, by the way.
Well, my jeans are like
Old
so
school.
They're
Old
so
school.
old.
Yeah.
And they're so worn out.
Acid washed, ripped jeans.
They're not
from,
even
like, the
acid. They're
80s.
not even acid washed. They just look it.
They're
'cause
like
they've been
bell
washing
bottoms.
them.
You don't have like
Yeah.
the tight
They're not
like
bell bottoms.
They're
Shut
like,
up.
like bell bottoms.
Shut up.
I thought he was gonna wear like tight tapered platform jeans. shoes. That would be.
No,
a
I
little-
don't do the Euro jeans.
Got to grease
for
the
ob-
legs to get in.
for obvious reasons.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here at Patriots Unfiltered, 855-PASS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline, web radio at patriots.com, podcasts at patriots.com.
You haven't made that mistake very often.
No, I haven't.
No.
But you're a bully. You're a bully. You're mean to me.
was
You make fun of my
unnecessary,
attire quite often.
I do.
And it's usually just this shirt.
Well, at least.
But now it's like I'm going back. Paul wears mom jeans and bell bottoms. Like
Yeah, they're old-fashioned jeans.
You're mean.
You
You're
gotta,
mean.
Well,
What is old-fashioned about these?
Well, those are better. But
Why?
back
What
then,
is
you
this
were
the same as
wearing
I wear-
jeans that were like 20 years old.
Well, that's probably
You
going to
know.
be on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I have like 4 or 5 pairs of jeans. I
know.
rotate them every day.
But
and
you're like you're a
weekend comes, I wash
You're a
'em.
media personality, Paul. You need to
I am
get
not-
rid of the
neither
hoods.
in the media nor a personality.
Get rid of the hoods and wear like grown-up clothes.
You see, he's mean. He's a bully.
I know. Well, he's like a running back. He sees the hole open up, and he goes right
he
for
really
it.
Does.
You know,
He
It's
really
how it
does.
is.
This is after I gave him a compliment because I told him, remember our argument about the offensive line late in the show, and I came to the realization that
suddenly
he,
you do-
that he
that
was
it does
kinda
matter.
He was kind of right. No, I don't. No, that's the realization is that I was being a hypocrite.
Right. Oh.
So
You're back out.
I said to him
no need to
today-
draft a tackle next year.
Fred's kind of convincing me that they don't.
I mean, Vidarian Lowe's.
Well, no,
No, I'm not
no,
saying
no,
that.
no.
That's not what I'm saying.
See, now he's now being an
Oh
instigator.
yeah.
It's time
Yeah.
for you and I to gang up on him.
Never.
So I said to him, it was one of the only times that Fred and I have been in an argument, and I was thinking to myself, I'm losing. I'm losing this argument. He's right. I'm wrong.
Well, Paul
never happens.
See, Paul's smart. He's also thinking about the arguments he's going to have next off season. So he knew that he
Right,
had to
right.
come around on that.
I'm just telling you, you made very valid points in that argument, and I was wrong.
You did it, Fred. How long did it take?
Like, you don't have to, he's right. You don't have to have an elite player.
Yeah.
And I wasn't necessarily meaning like you had to have an elite, the best of the best, but him talking about Matt Light was like, yeah. I mean, I don't think Matt Light would make a difference on this team, but Matt Light and, 2 really good receivers and, a better guard to plug in, a Stephen Neal, all of a sudden you've upgraded 4 spots on your offense. Yeah, your quarterback is as good as we think he is. You should have a much better offense next year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like I was telling Paul before you got here. I'd rather have 5 good guys, 5 good linemen, than 1 or 2 great, and then the rest stink. Because
Sure.
I think 5 good guys on a line in today's NFL equals an elite line.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
If you have good coaching.
It's another
Right.
thing
No, that's what I was.
If you have good coaching.
That's what I think was the value of Scarnecchia, where I'm sure you
Right.
guys felt like every year, no matter who the line. I mean, maybe this is where your take was developed, Paul, was that every year they had Scarnecchia and they were able to just kind of make chicken salad every
It's
year.
like the Chiefs have, I would say, 3 really good linemen and 2 so-so linemen.
Yeah.
And they're elite.
Yeah.
The team is elite.
Now-
Now the Lions have 5 really good linemen. I mean, Penei Sewell's elite.
Yeah.
But they have, when they're healthy, I know they've been missing some guys. I think Ragnar's out, right? The center, he's been hurt. But they have 5 pretty good linemen.
Yeah.
But
That's an elite line.
We talk about bringing in more talent next year, but I think one of the most important things this team is going to have to do in the offseason is evaluate their assistant coaches. Is Scott Peters a good offensive line coach? I don't know. He's never been the guy yet, in his career. He's always been an assistant. This is the first time he's been the offensive line coach. Maybe he's great. I don't know. But the evaluation of these positional coaches is right up there with everything else they need to do this offseason.
Yeah.
And maybe Scott Peters is great, and they'll after the evaluation they'll figure that out, and he'll stay on, and we'll get those 5 good linemen, and he'll coach him up, and we'll be fine. But I don't know that. Only they really know. the Elliott Wolves and everybody else inside the team.
Yeah, and how much are you willing to look at the extenuating circumstances around each? Like, I mean, it's his first year coaching. They're going to have some mistakes, a lot of injuries. I mean, I think they know on the inside though. Wow, this player we felt like had potential, and you brought it out of him, or you didn't.
Right.
Those are the things internally that they know that we don't really get to see.
We don't know that.
We just see the overall product, which last week felt like they were well coached, like they had a well coached game. So they got to continue to do that stuff. But I agree, it'll be interesting evaluation. There's so many assistant coaches though. It's maybe do they decide too many? Let's pull back a little bit, or like you said, maybe they shuffle some guys out.
Let's get to some emails at podcast@patriots.com. And just a reminder, if you want to be included in our newsletter distribution list, all you have to do is email anything to podcast@patriots.com. We'll automatically move you into the distribution list, and you'll get the newsletter. Every time I make this announcement, we get another batch. So I know that we get new listeners every show, so that's why I'm saying it every show. Just email podcast@patriots.com, and you'll get our new PU newsletter. It's just about this show and the people in this show and the callers and listeners. So we're trying to make it really fun. Alex is editing it, but we've got other people contributing. So podcast@patriots.com is how you get the newsletter. Chance is emailing from Syracuse. He says, I have two questions for you guys. The first being a hypothetical. If Stafford played for the Packers and Rodgers played for Detroit, do you think Stafford would have won more, less, or the same amount of Super Bowls that Rodgers did, which is one?
I think you were on more.
You think Stafford would have won more?
You know what I think of Stafford.
Yeah, I know. You like Stafford.
I should probably recuse myself from this conversation. I'm not unbiased.
And would Rodgers have done anything?
He won the same as Rodgers without playing for the Packers.
Yeah. And you don't think Rodgers would have elevated Detroit at that time?
I think he
Calvin
would have,
Johnson?
but I don't think he would have made them consistently great.
Yeah.
I think it would have been like Stafford. Stafford elevated the team. He just didn't do it consistently.
Yeah.
It is interesting
because of
to think
the
about
ineptitude.
Rodgers with Calvin Johnson. That's kind of interesting.
Second question.
Yeah, I think Rodgers probably would have been better. I mean, Rodgers is better than Stafford. I mean, as much as I hate one and love the other, Rodgers is a better player.
Second question is for me. When Stafford asked the Lions to trade him, he apparently said anywhere but the Patriots. If that report is true, would you consider this a Patriots revenge game?
So the reason for that was Matt Patricia. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's why he's out of Detroit. The whole Matt Patricia thing is all because
of course.
Like that's the brunt of his sort of
like,
pushback for the Patriots.
No, why would we want revenge on that?
No, I mean you can use it as revenge.
Well,
I mean you can use anything for revenge.
Yeah.
I mean God knows Rodney Harrison and Willie McGinnis made it up all the time.
I mean Matt Patricia's not here, and
but that was
Wait, that was 2020 off season or 2021 before 2021?
I think it was after the 20 season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right after Patricia left.
And don't hold me to this. I might. Maybe I'm missing some of the details. I had always gotten the impression that the impetus for that thought process from Stafford toward the Patriots was because Patricia was always pounding the Lions with, this is how you win. The Patriots do this. The Patriots do that. And it was all about
he actually brought his rings out.
How much you guys suck and how much the Patriots invented football.
Yeah.
And I think it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And I think that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I might be completely missing that. But that's what I've always... That's how it was explained to me.
Absolutely.
That's how I always thought it went down.
Yep.
And yes, I think it was after the 20 season is when he demanded the trade, because that 20 game that the Patriots played the Rams, Jared Goff was still with the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
That 24-3 Thursday night game.
Yeah. 24-3.
Spee in Fresno, appreciate Fred's comments that many of the show's listeners weren't PFW listeners. The poor souls tuning in now will never know the depth of depravity and heights of greatness previously achieved. I think it would be fun for you to put together an infographic for the newsletter, visualizing the history of the show, the paper, and most especially the personnel over the years. You'll have to blur the face of he who shall not be named.
Yes,
that's a good one.
Make him look like Sauron.
No, but here's the thing. I'm going to tell you two while we're sitting here.
Okay.
I want you guys contributing to
Okay,
this.
no,
I don't want it to be all Alex. So
No.
like something like this.
I pretty much provide all the content every week.
Well, okay, great. No, but
With my
something like
words.
this, if you
On the
wanted,
brunt of every joke.
If you, yeah, I know, but if you wanted to like do a timeline, Paul, go ahead, do that for the newsletter.
I think that'd be really fun.
Of the personnel,
like just a visual, right?
Like when was the first swear said on, you know?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Like when? I know that. Like I swore on the radio. I know that.
Yes, that was the first time there was a swear in this show.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I was the first to swear. on the
Well,
show.
the first F-bomb for sure.
Probably the loudest.
Yeah. And then the time that Fred kicked Andy off the show.
Yeah. See, I wasn't there.
Okay.
Reverse and
No, I
ties.
can help you.
That was at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That I could give you a timeline. That was at the Super Bowl before
like a
the
great
Eagles,
moments
the first
timeline.
Eagles Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I think there's also like a good visual of like, you know, the first show, maybe just your heads like with headphones on, and this was PFW in progress, and then, you know, Andy's head pops in down the timeline, and then Eric's, and, you know, slowly show how it was made. I think that's a good idea. No, I want to contribute.
How we went from like Cro-Magnon men to, you know,
Low
people,
T-Rex.
Yeah, people walking on 2 feet.
It'd be better if we could get old pictures of you guys too, like the pictures from '99.
I've looked like this, like since like high school graduation.
Wow, how did you deal with that? Just beating him off with a stick.
Yes.
Warren,
Where did you get that white hair?
Warren says that
You want me to
Paul
buy
needs a
alcohol?
pay raise for a car and new jeans.
Be cool if you came in there with like some diesel jeans some one day, really tight, like you know,
I-
got a lot of like
I
flair
just don't see
on
any
'em.
difference between my jeans. I mean, young people, I definitely see like I said that in the clip, the Euro jeans. Like I don't wear like the tight jeans.
Yeah. Do you wear
'Cause
like
I
the low
shouldn't.
ones to like ride low on your
No,
hips?
but I wear
with it?
normal jeans. Like
Oh, some of the
Levi's.
Some of the
Like-
older men, like when I say older, like over 40, who wear the real tight jeans look absolutely ridiculous.
right, and evidently that's what you're clamoring for me, so you can make fun of me when I come in.
not tight jeans, but just modern
tight, but
jeans.
just modern.
Yeah.
Right.
Just,
right.
you know,
like
a little
Levi's. What's the
style.
matter with Levi's?
Yeah. I don't know.
These are my old man
No,
jeans.
Levi's are fine. The new,
But that's what I
new
wear.
Levi's, not the kind of real baggy ones.
Well, I want to toot my own horn, but my
No,
jeans
you
are really
lost
baggy
weight.
right now because
Right,
I
so
lost
you
some
need to
weight.
get new clothes.
There you go.
That's
Can we
what
do a
happens.
makeover? Let's work a makeover into
Yeah.
it. You know, we'll go put Paul on
Put
Queer
the-
Eye for
that'll be the
Straight
next
Guy.
thing in the newsletter. The whole newsletter is just let's dump on Paul.
Oh, so the last newsletter headline was me going to the bathroom, but he's complaining because it's all about him.
That is true. There's 2 arguments in a row we won. Fred's right. It's all of the content
It was
is
a
me and
poll
Fred.
if he had an accident or not.
You guys need to step up your game.
Right. You start contributing.
I
here.
know.
Pulling your
Yeah,
weight.
hop in.
Yeah.
Can I get a ruling though? I got LL Bean jeans on right now. Is that old
It
man
depends
jeans?
on which one. See, I have LL Bean jeans on too, but they're the signature ones.
Oh.
So they're not the classy baggy ones.
Right. These are.
I can't even afford a car, and I'm supposed to get like LL Bean jeans.
Oh, they're not that
I
expensive.
got a
Like
gift
the
card
sig-
for my
the signature ones.
They're under $100.
There.
You think I'm spending $100 on my jeans?
Well, listen, that's what clothes cost these days.
Not jeans. Not Levi
Well,
jeans.
no, if
They
you
don't
go to
cost $100.
Kmart, they're not. They don't.
Go to Kmart, but you don't have to spend $100 to get a pair of regular jeans. Something that like
Paul, you get what you pay
something
for.
my son would wear. Yeah, those are going to cost you $100. More of like a designer kind of thing.
Right.
I'm not wearing
Oh,
Jordache.
the designer jeans cost 200 bills.
I'm
these
not
days.
wearing Jordache.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that, Paul. But
Sassoon.
just
Marshalls.
something,
Ooh la la,
something that
Sassoon.
compliments you a little bit better.
Listen, it is what it is.
Something
Fred. I
that
got nothing to
something that
compliment.
doesn't say I'm going to the grocery store. Do you need anything?
Well, that would be sweats.
You know?
Something that doesn't say I've completely given up.
Right. This is the show. Right here.
It's a show. That's a show.
Screw sports.
Dungarees. That's what we're
Screw
talking about.
sports.
Alex,
It's-
I hope you recorded all of that. I expect to see
We
another
could do like a little.
dump on
Maybe
Paul
we could do a
in the
little
next-
Paul cutout where we can fashion you and cut out a pair of jeans and put them on. Like a toy for the kids, the kid listeners. They want to dress up Paul Perillo. No, he's not plus by that one.
Like remember when I was little, they had this thing called color forms.
Yeah, oh
remember
yeah,
those?
hell yeah.
The
Color
vinyl
forms. You
things?
bake 'em.
Yeah. Bake them.
What are the things you used to bake? You put them
No,
in the oven?
no. This was like a
That's what you did in Cali with all your movie
This
types.
was like a two-dimensional. It was like a board
Yeah.
that you had these sticky vinyl things. And
They're
you
still a thing, Fred. My kids have them.
They color
Color
forms.
forms,
You
I
still
know.
have them?
It's like a raincoat or a farmer. You
Yeah.
just dress them up with all the vinyl stickers on this
Yeah.
one half-naked human being.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I remember what you're talking about.
Color forms. Yeah.
It's color forms fun.
What am I
Yeah.
thinking of?
Pretty sure that was a commercial.
Matt in Cologne writes in, my wife Elena and I are just about to make dinner as we're listening to the show on YouTube. Mike just came in, and we literally started dancing to the song. Thank you very much for your show and all the input regarding the Patriots. Do you guys already know when the Patriots will return to Germany and where they will play next time? At the moment, there are rumors about a game in Berlin.
Ooh.
I don't know if the Patriots are going to play there next year, but I do know that Roger Goodell is working hard to get a game in Berlin.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
like that.
Those 8 international games,
yeah,
like you said yesterday, like
16.
that's like half the league.
That's half the league playing a
Somebody
game.
going somewhere.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean,
I want to know how
go
Matt
somewhere.
what exactly that dance was like, because I mean it's a wonderful song, but it's kind
Well,
of
it is at
it's
least
a very
con-
rhythmic
you
dance.
At least it's a
swing a little
contribution for
bit.
you.
Yeah.
The song, because the song is outstanding.
It's wonderful, but it's
It's
you know
the
it's
best
not like
song we've had.
You're not doing like the run. You're kind of.
Who's back from the locker room?
Yeah.
What was the mood? Were the
They
players
just stood up when they
friendly?
stood.
None of them looked like Derrick Henry. Hey, Mike, what was it like?
Taste testing the food together to the song.
Hey, Mike, what was it like?
Just a
And
wonderful
it
moment.
fades out. And it fades out, fades into Mike.
And then I just wink at the camera.
Yeah. Juan wants to talk football.
Oh, come on, Juan.
So we'll go back to football.
Okay.
All right, fine.
He says he went to the Patriots-Bears games last weekend and noticed that at the top of the break, the Bears receivers were blanketed by the Patriots defense. I noticed this a couple of times before the beer took effect. Not the bear, the beer. After the game, I saw a video of someone calling out the Bears' play calling / designs. He made a point that most, if not all, the sacks came in plays where the Bears receivers had super slow developing plays. He showed some videos showing that most, if not all, the receiver routes would be outbreaking routes toward the sideline and none or almost in the middle for quick throw options. In fact, he paused one video showing a Patriot defender coming free, and all you can see is vertical routes down the field with none of the receivers having their head turned toward the quarterback. Not to downplay how well the Patriots defense played, but how much did the Bears help not just with the bad O-line play, but with also bad calling or bad route running?
Yeah, the Bears' offense did not look in sync at all to me, and that's, I don't want to not give credit to the Patriots, but they just, even some of the plays that I thought were there, Caleb Williams just wasn't seeing it fast enough, and I mean we've seen that kind of play.
That would be my argument.
before.
How much of it was on Caleb Williams? Because you're not necessarily supposed to be looking when the ball's thrown.
Yeah, right.
Like, so if you're looking at videos and no one's looking when the pressure is coming, like, there needs to be, I think it's all of the above, basically. What the emailer is describing is, I think all of those things were part of it. I think it's a poor design. I didn't see a lot of downfield stuff, and Evan had yesterday the numbers. There was only one throw that traveled more than 10, did you say 10 yards or 20?
I think it was 10, yeah.
So, like, that's just poor design. And then I think Caleb Williams did a poor job of reading the field and handling the pressure and moving around. And I think the Patriots also did a great job at combating all of those things, whether it be in the front end, getting some pressure on him, or the back end and having tight coverage.
Yeah.
I think it was sort of a mix of a lot of bad stuff.
Bubba writes in, still kind of sticking on the Bears game. I don't want to rain on your parade, but winning against the Bears doesn't mean much like the Cincy win. Instead of the Cincy win. We only scored 19 points versus a bad team in total disarray. The offense was not solid. Pass protection was soft. There is still a lot of work to get consistently scoring 20-plus points per game. The defense played well, but Chicago's O-line was so weak that it's not NFL caliber. I like the coverage. It caused a number of the sacks. I like the fewer mistakes and better coaching. Time will tell, but I don't think they can win more than 2 of the remaining games if the passing game does not improve dramatically.
I kind of agree with Bubba.
No, Patriots have to get better. We're not.
Yeah.
Who's saying they don't?
Yeah.
No, but a win's a win at this point. I think that's what everyone will take.
And I think that the fact that they were able to do what they did, the difference in this game and the Cincinnati game to me was they won this game easily going away. They took advantage of the other team not playing well and won easily. Now, I would have loved to have seen more conversions in the red zone and all that. And I would have liked to have seen Drake Maye look a little bit more comfortable than he did. But to win a game easily when the other team is playing poorly. That's what you're supposed to do.
I just think too, you just see the effect that losing week after week has on a team, and no matter how you get a win, it just has such a beneficial effect to the team, and just gives them a reprieve from all the same questions and everything. And this is what I felt today in the locker room and in the interviews. It was everybody had a little bit renewed energy this week, and that's hopefully that can help them continue it. But I agree with the sentiment, Bubba. They got a lot of work still to do.
Tom in England writes in, quick over-under. How many full games will Cole Strange play for the New England Patriots from now until he becomes a free agent? The over-under, he says, is 13.
What year is this for him?
This is the 3rd year, so his 4th year next year. They'd have to pick up his option this coming season this coming off season if they were to do it.
That's for the 5th year.
Right.
5th year option.
So next year, I would say 17.
He's going to play all games?
Yeah.
Okay, so over. Over 13.
Oh, over.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't know.
Also, shout out to Paul for his ability and passion to argue any argument at any time, no matter whether he agrees or not. It's an art form.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
And a curse.
It is a curse, because sometimes I imagine the inside of Paul's mind arguing both sides of it himself.
Would you say that?
I argue one side here a lot and then go and Felger and Naz and argue the complete opposite
Would you
side.
credit Rich Perillo for that gift?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Your brother just torturing you?
Yeah.
You think I'm a pro?
Yeah.
There's a guy who missed his calling.
No, I mean, for every great arguer, there's an arguer behind him.
Oh, sure. Well, and I mean, I've just noticed that little brothers are so
Provocateur.
affected by big brothers. Like, little
Oh, yeah.
brothers and big brothers. It's I didn't have brothers growing
My
up,
big
but
brother
now
was
having
my idol,
sons,
and all I
yeah.
ever wanted to do was argue with him.
Yeah.
How many times did an argument with Rich turn into a fight? Physical fight?
Physical? No.
No? Oh, okay.
No. We fought physically. We did, but
Yeah.
not necessarily because of arguing.
Okay.
It was more because of something usually that I did.
The funny thing I noticed about brothers, though, is that they'll start kind of doing stuff with each other, and then one will escalate with some kind of physical thing, and then the other one gets raging pissed, and you can just watch it go from kind of joking around to all of a sudden they're at each other's throats and have to be separated.
Right. And all the past grievances.
Oh,
come
yeah.
out.
Right.
I punched him once in the shoulder, up here, I as hard as I could, and I hit the top of his shoulder, and it kind of slipped off, and I hit him in the jaw. And that's about as afraid as I've ever been in my life, and I'm not exaggerating. I ran as fast as I could. My friend Joey Massa, saved me. He got in between, gave me a little bit of a head start. I made it down the stairs, down the driveway, and around the corner. And eventually he just stopped chasing me. I thought he was going to kill me.
Yeah.
And I totally didn't do it on purpose. I just meant to hit him in the arm.
Rich, I'm
Ended up hitting him in the jaw, as hard as I could.
Yeah.
And I was probably 15 or 16, so it wasn't like I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I had something behind it. Not like I was Mike Tyson or anything.
Right.
But
And left hand.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much older is he than you?
4 years.
4 years. Yeah, it's the same as my boys. So.
Joe writes in, says he's disappointed in Paul.
Oh, wow.
Yesterday, he
Me
said
too.
Drake has the skill to play in Buffalo, mentioning that he can throw the ball into the wind. Where was the snarky when he knows it's there, or not just when the coaches make him?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Also,
Just so you know, I don't put any of the thing in Tennessee on Drake Maye.
right.
I don't need. There's no snark involved. The snark with the wind in Tennessee is on the coach.
Also, man, does Fred make being rich sound hard or what? Getting up from your table, paying your tab, carry your drink, don't carry your drink. And this is before you've even tried to order your steak and all the rules that come with that.
It's so true.
Good.
Oh,
That's a good
man.
one.
You shouldn't have to carry your own drink.
No.
That's untoward.
It's like
It's not that. I just said I carry my own drink, but from what I understand, it's not good etiquette to do it.
No, if I was out at the Capitol Grill,
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't do that.
I would.
I wouldn't carry my drink.
I would.
You would? Why?
Yeah,
I thought
but
you're not supposed to.
They say that you're not supposed to, but I would. And somebody emailed a good thing. He says, in today's day and age, if I've started a drink, there's no way I'm trusting that drink with somebody else. It's not out of my sight.
Oh, I wouldn't do.
roofie somebody or
Well,
something.
I'm not letting that drink out of my sight.
so but that's hypocritical. You let it out of your sight when he brought it to you.
Well, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
So why?
I don't
I mean, I get for women that's a different thing, and it's a very serious issue.
Yeah.
But it's not like the guy next to you at the bar is carrying your drink over.
Yep.
The server is carrying your drink over. The same server in a lot of cases that gave it to you in the first place.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand what the fear is.
Yeah. Bert in Island writes in. He says he's been wondering, is it possible that Todd from North Carolina is secretly trolling everybody? Because every time he calls in, he always manages to work in the word offense. There are definitely some dim-witted listeners to the show, especially those who don't recognize the greatness of the picks segment. To me, it is the best part of the show each week. I especially love the cogent analysis of each game by Alex.
Was
that snarky?
I will say that
Offense.
some people might not know. Todd in North Carolina is originally from
Canada.
Nova Scotia, I believe, right? Todd in Nova Scotia.
I think so, yeah.
That's how his original last name was Nova Scotia, in Nova Scotia.
Right.
I
Now
think.
he's Todd in
So
NC.
he has the Canadian
He does.
accent.
But do you think he
I don't think
overemphasizes it?
I don't think he's trolling us.
No, you don't
Well,
think so?
maybe. I don't put anything past anybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what Fred says. It's a winnable game. I absolutely agree.
Any given Sunday.
It's a winnable game.
All right, let's get back to the TPX hotline. We've heard from some emailers. Let's get to the callers. Mike's in Puerto Rico. What's up, Mike?
Hey, everybody. Having an awesome Patriot week. How about yourselves?
Yeah.
Hell
It's
yeah.
always better after a win.
I know. And I actually got to travel down for both the Titans and the Chicago game. I met Melvin and Dre, I guess, just before you went out with them. Fred,
Okay, yeah.
in Nashville.
Nice.
And got to see the comeback against the Titans, which was really cool. And then because we were driving the whole time, we stopped in Indianapolis and got to experience the St. Elmo's shrimp cocktail.
Oh, nice.
Which was overpowering. I mean, that is some strong stuff over there.
I love it.
And checked off Soldier Field from my bucket list of places that I wanted to go. That place is actually really cool.
Yeah, it's a dump though. They're already looking for a new stadium.
Already, it's like 1,000 years
Yeah,
old.
no, same thing with
They
Nissan.
renovated it.
Yeah.
But it's a dump.
No, I know.
I mean, that is a dump.
Yeah. What else?
But it's historic.
It's absolutely
especially
historic.
to be there.
Definitely.
It is one of the historic places
And
in
you
the
can't
league.
beat the setting right there in the
Yep.
lake. It's a
And
beautiful
on
setting.
Veterans Day.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And the day before Veterans Day, like the whole thing that they did over there was actually really, really cool. But I'm excited. I mean, I know I was down a couple of weeks ago when I called in, but obviously getting Drake in and the way that they perform, and I mean, just seeing that comeback against the Titans, I mean, that was really impressive. And just I think we've turned a corner, and I think the team has got some positive energy. I think Mayo is pushing the right buttons. Hopefully, Alex, AVP keeps developing Drake, and Drake just keeps taking a stronger and larger leadership role within the team.
Okay. I agree. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Arizona, where Riley's on the phone. What's up, Riley? Riley.
Hello?
Hey.
What is going on?
Riley had one of his kids waiting online, I believe.
How's it going? First time caller here. I've been a listener for a couple years now, but first time calling, so
sweet.
Just wanted to say that you guys are my favorite Patriots podcast to listen to. I listen to some of the others, and just want to say Felger and Maz are some real bozos. I listened to them a little bit yesterday, and they couldn't even pronounce Brendan Schooler's name correctly. They kept calling him Brandon Schooler.
Well, that's a sign of disrespect. That's how they.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, it's just like, how are you going to have a podcast about Patriots football but not even educate yourselves on the players and pronounce their names correctly?
It's very poor to me.
That is awful.
Pass along.
Agreed. So
I'll
that's
pass
my
it
first
along
thought.
in an hour.
And then I just have two other quick things. This might be more of a question for Evan, but between Kelvin Banks and Will Campbell, who would you guys rather draft and why? And then lastly, I know we've talked a lot about T. Higgins and how he's going to be a free agent. But if we weren't able to land T. Higgins, what other wide receivers would you like to see us go after, especially considering T. Higgins is kind of injury prone and has been the last couple seasons?
Okay.
And then finally, I hope to see you guys at the Cardinals-Patriots game on the 15th. Just bought my ticket last weekend, so super stoked for that and looking forward to it.
All right.
Guys.
Thanks, Riley. I wonder if there's any fan stuff going to happen in Arizona. We'll have to get
Also,
on top
big
of
fan,
that.
but big fan club down there, right?
Yeah.
There was
Oh, yeah.
How much they used to opine on various things.
I mean, yeah.
Speaking of PFW and progress timelines, Evan's answer to the tackle question would be whichever one of them has 33 inch arms.
Right? No, it's true. I mean, I haven't. I've done enough just on those guys.
I like them both.
They're both. They're both have some question marks, though. I think
Yeah.
at the start of the season, everyone said these two guys are top 5 left tackle of the future, and now they're both have questions if they'll be able to develop into those players. I think Banks is maybe a little bit more high ceiling, a little bit more athletic, but there'll be plenty of time to get into that. I just think if the Patriots are 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there, that's probably a good spot for
At some point early on, I looked at who were the projected free agents for wide receivers next year. And now I forget who they are. Are there any big names that are going to be legitimate free agents? Because don't rule out trades, too, because that can happen as well.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be traded. The free agent list, I mean, I think most people put T. Higgins at the top of the list. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Then it's not great. It's okay if he's in the top.
Well, for free agents?
Yeah, for free agents.
That's pretty high. Like, usually the guys don't become free agents.
Yeah.
It's it's not as bad as left tackle, but usually you trade the guy if you don't think you're going to be able to re-sign him. That's why you have seen a lot of high-profile trades, so you're not wrong to think trade market.
Yeah.
See who's, forget T. Higgins. Are they going to continue to sort of screw around with Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
Right? Opportunistic. I mean,
so they're going to have to get him signed, in this offseason. He's not going to want to play it out. I mean, he already held out all of the summer, after his third year. He's not going to want to play it out, heading into his fourth year, right? This is his third year, heading into his fourth year.
Yeah.
Make him an offer he can't refuse.
I'll take Jamar Chase.
Yes.
I would take Jamar Chase.
Yes.
For sure.
I mean, if we're looking at guys to target,
right? Why not go for the
best?
best?
I know,
but that's the AJ. That's the year that you do it.
Yeah. Right.
And
you got the money to do it. Like, that moves my needle. I just don't like to get all.
Finally, got something.
No, I know,
that caused
but we
him
talk
to
about T. Higgins, and I don't know. I'm over pining for any wide receiver with a pulse outside of the building. I think we see every year there are guys that come in that are good. So, I think my primary thing would be certainly, like, if you could get, and there's probably 5 guys that I would say that about in the league. Certainly A.J. Brown was, one of them. T. Higgins is not. But, Jamar Chase definitely is. I just continue to stack these guys. Day 2 picks, speed. Day 2 pick, wide receiver, speed. That, to me, is how you should do it. And I don't know. I can't spend another offseason taking 25 calls about T. Higgins as if he is the answer to everything. And there's another part of it too.
He alone is not the answer to everything.
No, and I know you said they need 2 guys, but there's an appeal to me in developing guys, and they're all coming in together. Whereas when you're going to go out and you're going to pay huge money to a guy who already did it elsewhere, this guy's going to come in with expectations, with an ego. And so I just think from a team building dynamic, there's something to be said for working your way up with guys. And Drake Maye, you draft a guy this year, and they earn that chemistry, and they're all in it together instead of Drake Maye and some guys start to work together and, okay, guys, now we're going to bring in this superstar. And it might work out great, but there's also another element to it.
This is a good discussion. Let me ask you, do you think Philadelphia, do you think Howie Roseman likes Devontae Smith more than A.J. Brown?
Well, I would say I like A.J. Brown as one of these guys of come hell or high water.
But I'm not necessarily talking about, like, as a player. Like, he likes the fact these are both great wide receivers that we have, but I drafted and developed Devontae Smith, whereas I just traded for someone else to develop A.J. Brown. I don't think anybody cares.
No, and there's
the point that you need to have is you need to hit on both.
Yeah.
So I'm all in on the Mike Dussault plan of let's get another T. Higgins in the second round. But you know what I'm hoping for with the second round pick? T. Higgins.
Right.
So why not draft whoever in the second round and sign T. Higgins, and then maybe the guy in the second round turns out to be better than T. Higgins, and I have a 1 and a 2.
Yep.
I would just
like
say
that's all. Like the whole and this is again, I'm going to pick on Matt again because this is what Matt does. Matt hates all of these guys. Like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are like the only 2 guys in the league that are worthy of his sort of admiration. And I get it; those guys are great. I love them both. They're probably not available.
Right.
Right. So what do you do? Like he hated Calvin Ridley. Okay, I get it. Calvin Ridley's not A.J. Brown. He's not. Mike's right. He's not Justin Jefferson. But he's pretty good. And you could have got him for a lot less than those guys cost. But unfortunately, he didn't sign. Like, if you had him, I think you'd be one step closer to where you need to be with the wide receiver room. So find another one.
Yep.
In draft one. I'm all in on the Deuce plan.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just say, we're going to sign T. Higgins and everything's going to be okay. No, it won't be okay.
What did No Socks think of Lad McConkey?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure No Socks doesn't know Lad McConkey.
I hear you. I just think like it becomes, I do it for Justin Jefferson. I do it for A.J. Brown. Now I'll do it for Brandon Ayuk. Yep. I'll do it for Calvin Ridley. I'll do it for T. Higgins. Like at a certain point, it just becomes a tonnage issue for me where you're not talking about the same players anymore. You're talking about guys who are maybe more complementary players. Like if I'm going to overextend, I want A.J. Brown. I would have done it for Calvin
But I
Ridley.
don't want to
think
overextend. I just want to sign a guy in the free agency. And if I'm signing T. Higgins and I think I'm getting Justin Jefferson, then I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That's a me problem. But T. Higgins is a really good player. The caller's right. I think it was the caller or the emailer. He is a little injury prone. He's had a couple of hamstring problems this year that have cost him multiple games. But when he's on the field, he's a difference maker for that team.
Yeah.
Now, you can say it's all because of Chase. You might be right. But he was a 1,000-yard receiver before Chase got there. He was a really good player as a rookie when they had nothing. It was Burrow and Higgins with a little bit of Tyler Boyd sprinkled in, and he was pretty good.
Would you bring in Cooper Kupp?
No.
No. Too old?
I think he's a little past his prime.
Speed. I want speed.
Yeah.
But you know what? You could probably convince me on Cooper Kupp too, but now you definitely got to do the Deuce plan.
Oh yeah,
you got to get someone
He's
above
not the
him.
answer.
You got to get someone above him.
No,
absolutely.
and I think either plan feeds into what you're saying. They need two guys that move the needle. And I mean, you're right. One way or another, try to get them. I just think that there is value for if you can believe in your own internal development. And like, I mean, to be honest, other side of the ball, like I've kind of got a crush a little bit on what the Rams are doing on defense, where over the last couple of years, they've hit on multiple defensive draft picks. And you heard the guys this morning talking about how hard those guys are playing. And, you know, statistically, you look at them, they don't look overwhelming or anything like that. But over the course of 2 years, you've got at least 4 guys in your front that were drafted over the first 2 days of the draft that are making impacts now and that are all starting to grow together. And that to me is like the sexiest thing of all team building is like when you nail the draft, you got a young core that all grows together, that all gets experience together. Like that's ideal to me.
Al is from Wisconsin says Mike is completely right on wide receivers. We should trust our front office to pick a wide receiver in the draft. Just look at their track record.
I had a feeling that was going to be a Matt Smith-like sarcasm.
That's totally fair. But what do you do? You just stop drafting wide receivers? You're never going to do it again.
You
can't do it.
This is just like what they did with tight ends. They kept drafting tight ends until they got Gronkowski.
And like, I mean, I'm sorry, just draft. A lot of times, guys don't work out, and you just have to continue to hit it. And Paul and I have said this since the first time I went to the combine with him. Every year. There's guys every year, and granted, they haven't hit them, and they didn't really seem like they hit them this year either, even though they did what we've been wanting them to do forever, which is go double dip on the receivers.
Yeah,
you got to keep doing it. There's too much talent out there to believe that like you can't hit it.
You can't just say like, well, we don't evaluate that position well.
Yeah.
And say, well, you got to keep trying, and you got to get it right.
Yeah. Nakoti's in West Virginia. What's up, Nakoti?
How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey.
Good. You guys were just talking about the draft. I know probably a little sickening hearing about it now, especially it being months away from now. But I think the best option right now is to choose a wide receiver in the first round because there is a left tackle in the second round, but projected to go in the second round. Now, I'm going to sound like a bit of a homer because he is from WVU. His name is Wyatt Milam, and some stats for you. He's the only lineman who's graded at 85 in pass blocking and run blocking, and hasn't given up a pressure and hasn't given up a sack in the past 2 years. So I was wondering if you think that would be okay. You know, maybe draft McMillan and then choose him in the second round, or maybe just, you know, double dip at left tackle.
Listen,
I'll take it off the air.
I thank you, Cody. You know, I don't know about the guy, but if the stats are true, and I'd much prefer doing that, taking a good left tackle in the second round and using the first round for, you know, a skill position player who is more of a sure thing.
Yeah.
You know,
so
I like that. I don't. What was the name?
That was a great Fredism, though. Did you
Which
hear?
one?
Did you hear the
McMillan?
little twist? Because I'm all on board with everything you said, but he had a little twist at the
What was
end.
it? What was it?
Who's more of a sure thing? Yeah, I agree. If I have a guy, if I'm choosing at number 5 between this guy and this guy, I'll take the guy that's more of a sure thing. I don't care about his position. If he's more of a sure thing, I want him.
But I'd rather have a no.
But I don't know that
No,
that,
no.
that McMillan is more of a sure thing than Will
But
Campbell
I'd rather have
or
if
Banks.
I'm drafting high in the first round, I'd rather have a sure thing skill position player than a sure thing tackle.
Okay, so you're saying you'd rather have the wide receiver than the tackle if they're equal.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's different.
Yep.
What about if it's a sure thing, but he might not be able to play tackle, but then they'd be a sure thing at guard? Because I think that's kind of what is going with Will Campbell now.
That's not going to be Banks. Banks is a tackle.
No, Will Campbell is I mean, that's some of the speculation with him of if he can't play tackle because he's got 32-inch arms.
But now you reach that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you find, but you know all this stuff before the draft,
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you know if he doesn't have the Evan requisite arm length.
But what was the name of the guy from West Virginia that he made?
Nakoti.
No, not
oh,
his,
the guy, the player.
I couldn't hear.
We're gonna draft Nakoti.
Well, I just remember it was kind
No,
of
I
a
know.
different name, so it stuck out.
So
to
we're
me.
gonna have to look at this guy because if those stats are correct,
I mean,
that's a high rating.
Well, it's just
Can
so
I see
hard.
what the,
I mean,
like, can I see what the scouts think of him? Like,
Yeah,
the
well,
stats
that's what I
don't
mean.
really do much for
I mean,
me.
you know, Will Campbell plays at LSU as you know a
Right.
stud left
And Banks
tackle,
plays
and they're
at-
like, we
at
don't even know if
Texas.
he can play at left. Like
Right.
even
like
those
they're
guys
in the
just
SEC
like, we don't
playing
know.
against the best of the best, not the Big 12.
Yeah, right. It's hard. I mean, that's what the frustrating thing is with like a lot of these linemen develop, where it's like he's a left tackle, but he's probably going to end up inside a guard. There's
Now,
so many of those guys.
I'm all in on Nakoti's theory. If that kid, and I don't,
Yeah, a little
I don't
gem,
pre- I don't
little
pretend
gem.
to know. No, but like, listen, how many guys were in the second round last year at tackle? I would have taken my a run at, you know, Rosengarten and Suamate, you know, and like all those guys. Now, they're probably a little further away from being, you know, NFL ready. That's why they're second round picks. Right. So those guys, some of those guys that have played, they've struggled a little bit. You know, believe me, I hear about it because
heard about that.
you know, I wanted to draft one of them, and you know, everybody tells
Who?
one of the ones that was available.
It's impossible. They couldn't have done it.
One of the ones that was available. You smell like outside again. It's cold. I can tell.
Look at that sweatshirt.
Well,
It's bundled up.
Evan is here and he looks cold.
Has returned from
It is freezing.
practice. Evan has returned from practice. Yeah, Evan has returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there? What did he see?
So Evan, you're making a big deal about the weather. It was freezing out there?
I wouldn't say it was freezing, but we're definitely we got football weather out there now. We're not doing this, you know, global warming stuff anymore. We're getting a little
But
chilly
I heard
out
last
there.
week you were complaining about people talking
too
about
warm.
the
He
weather.
doesn't like it.
Yeah, no, I don't like people that like exaggerate about the weather. You know, like we go outside, oh, it's so beautiful. Let's
Well,
work
if it's
outside.
70
Let's
degrees
bring
in
our
November, that is beautiful.
Let's bring our laptops out here today, guys. Let's have school outside. Like,
boy.
let's calm down.
Wow, what a
He doesn't want
what a
it.
weather curmudgeon.
I know.
So did I overstate it?
No,
And then he's complaining about the nice weather, and then the first day it's cold today. He's like, I'm going to go
Yeah, he's all
upstairs
bundled
to
up.
Gerard.
He's, you know.
Yeah, I don't care
He
for
stayed
the,
inside in the building. He
I
didn't
don't
go
care for
outside.
the cold.
You don't care for the cold.
No, I grew up here, went to college in Ithaca, New York. Don't care for the cold.
Okay.
He lived in California, though.
But did you care for practice today?
Practice was practice was upbeat today.
Upbeat.
I would say it's
So there was
upbeat.
a discernible mood shift.
There was a mood shift a little bit. I would, I don't want to exaggerate too much, but definitely an upbeat practice. And I thought whoever was on the aux corps was doing a great job getting some nice tunes in there too to fire the group up. up, and it was good to see Kyle Duggar back at practice.
Whoever was on the what?
The aux cord, like for the
AUX,
phone, you plug
auxiliary.
it into the speaker, and then you play the music through the cord.
Oh,
and
aux.
Yeah.
AUX.
Yeah.
And this is the guy
Aux
that's
cord.
telling me how
Yeah.
to dress.
And that's what the kids say?
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Who's
I
on the-
said.
who's on the aux cord?
I got to be honest. I don't know what the kids say these days because now
I'm
you
not
have
a kid.
you have Bluetooth and things
'Cause he
like
ain't a
that.
kid anymore.
Yeah. I'm not
I've
sure.
never heard that before. I just like who's on the playlist. I've heard that.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
who's on the aux?
It's kind of like
The
a
aux
chalk.
cord.
Yeah,
Things to
because
get through.
that was the first time that you could go phone to car speakers was with the aux cord, or the tape decks really was the first time. But
Some of us still
but
have to
then-
do that in their car.
Now
Yeah.
it's Bluetooth.
Now it's Bluetooth.
You don't need the cord.
Right.
Not for
So-
everybody if your car was made in 2015, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway,
kids these days, I don't know.
he has practice to talk about.
Oh, sorry.
Mike.
So the good news for the Patriots on the practice field is that Kyle Duggar was back at practice
All
today.
right,
So that was the first time we have seen him in quite a while since that ankle injury flared up a couple of weeks ago. So he was back. Yannick Ngakoue is, I guess, how you say it. Not like
Yannick?
Yannick. It's
Yeah,
Yannick.
Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah, so Yannick Ngakoue was at practice as well, sporting a Joshua Uche 55. So he was practicing and participating, and I don't know if you guys spoke about what he said before practice
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Mike was talking
Yeah.
about it. Yep.
And but quite a few absences. So Sione Takitaki not there. Absent with, we believe, a hamstring injury. Marcellus Dial, it seems like he's in concussion protocol. He was out of practice today. Dietrich Wise, absent, some lower leg issues there. And then one that we are not 100% sure about is Isaiah Bolden, who is also not at practice today. So 4 guys missing on the defensive side of the ball from practice. And it's a little bummer about Taki because I thought that he played decent in the game, and now he's hurt
Let's see
again.
what he's listed as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of what Ngakoue said?
I liked it. I liked the Jags comparison. I thought that was about as
So I didn't share that part. But
of good of answer as he possibly could have given in that situation. So he was obviously asked about the elephant in the room of you went from the Ravens and potentially the number 1 seed to the Patriots, who are obviously not in the same spot. And he mentioned getting drafted by the Jaguars in 2016. And in 2016 they went 3-13 under Doug Marrone, and the next year they were in the AFC Championship game. So that was his answer, his response to being here on more of a rebuilding team versus on a team that has Super Bowl aspirations.
Okay. So he's thinking about being here more than just this season.
Yeah,
he was asked about that too. I mean, nothing has happened, but that was interesting to me. Of maybe they are considering trying to keep him on. I mean, we'll see what he has left in the tank first. But.
Getting back to the practice, I know they weren't practicing, but any sighting of Christian Barmore or Cole Strange?
No, so we saw both of them in the locker room today, but no practice yet for either one of those guys. So we'll see. I didn't see them walking out at all, even to the upper fields, because we were on the lower fields today. So a little bit different setup. But no, I didn't see either of those guys present at practice.
I was kind of surprised that Gerard said that Cole was behind Barmore. Like, I thought that was kind of interesting because, I mean, time is running out. Like, I don't know. It's like kind of getting to the point of like now or never, like what are the last 3 games or something.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about Gerard's press conference this morning, and he made it a point to compliment AVP and his development of Drake Maye so far. Did that ruffle the feathers of your media cohorts?
No, I don't think it ruffled any feathers. I agree with him. Like,
we agree. We've said it on this show. Somebody's doing a good job with Drake, but some of your friends in the media may not agree with that.
No, I didn't hear any of that. There's nothing, not a lot of conversations about that. Some of the conversations we were having were more centered around the players. Mike Onwenu and his performance so far, Ramondre Stevenson's performance on Sunday, and everybody they do their own process of their review, and then we come back on Wednesday as usually, and people, what did you think about this guy?
What did Greg Bedard say?
I have not read Greg
he wasn't
yet.
at practice?
He was not at practice.
Does he ever come to practice?
Training camp.
In training camp, but I'm talking about now.
No,
Okay.
but I do see him in the
What is
locker
he
room
doing
from time to
like
time.
that he doesn't come to practice?
That's, you gotta have to ask him.
Doesn't see the point in it. It's just going to be it's who's there, who's not there. That's about it.
I get the sense he doesn't like everybody in the media corps.
Oh.
He did give me a nice shout out yesterday, so
did he?
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
on
Because
Twitter.
even during training camp, he would not be with them. He would be separate.
Well, you just don't want to be distracted. You got to watch
Yeah.
it.
Well,
right?
it's all about the vantage point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
It's like me and Evan sitting up top. We don't even
Yeah,
talk to
you
each
know
other.
me,
the whole
I need the
practice.
bird's eye view.
So I want to catch you up to speed.
Greg could have come up and sat with us. I would have been happy to have him with us.
Yeah.
Share your
I'll
gift.
tell him that next time.
Tell him if he wants to come up to
He's
the.
been up there.
I know, but if he wants to watch practice from where we were, I'm
Yeah,
perfectly
but I'm
happy.
saying
to-
that's he has.
Oh, he has?
Yeah, in the summer he was up there. He was down on the side.
Oh, I saw him down below.
He was down there as well.
Yeah.
But
everywhere.
he's been up there.
Okay.
So we had a call that wanted to ask you, Will Campbell or Banks, which one you like the best? I said
I'll give it
Evan
to him,
would
yeah.
say that whichever one has 33 or longer inch arms.
Yeah, that's going to be big. I mean, look, the big thing with both those guys is that they play the position a little bit differently. So I think it's more about maybe what you're looking for in terms of flavor of style of play. Will Campbell is a little bit more of that, lighter on his feet, dancing bear type, whereas Kelvin Banks is more of a mauling type of tackle, a very strong guy who can move people in the run game. But it's going to come down to that day in February when they pull out the tape measure and they measure their arms.
So we got a call while you were gone. A Nakoti from. Okay,
Jeez.
Paul, you go ahead.
Jeez. No, go ahead. That's
No.
exactly what I was going to say.
Okay. We got a call from a person from West Virginia, big, West Virginia fan. He said there's
Yeah.
a kid projected tackle in the second round probably, who his rating for pass protection and run is like in the
Over
mid 80s.
85.
Yeah. And he said that's rare.
No pressures allowed. He's
Yeah.
been statistically
And
he's been
I,
off the
I
charts.
forget the player's name, but maybe you know. What?
Earsey, it might be him from Minnesota. Yeah.
No, West Virginia.
From West Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe was the kid from West Virginia?
I think
kid
he
was
said-
from West Virginia.
I think he said it was a West Virginia kid.
Yeah, West Virginia player.
Oh, I don't know.
He said he might be a little guilty of being a little bit of a homer, but
Yeah.
that's how he prefaced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But high mid 80s for both run and pass.
Interesting. Yeah. Look, I would just say from not to pick on the caller or anything, but
But you will.
pressures in college, I don't think that they really add much to the conversation.
Wyatt Milam.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
Did the
who
guy
he's-
email in?
I know who he's talking about now. I don't think pressures in college is a great way to assess the offensive lineman in college because of the types of offenses that they play at the college level. They are air raid offenses where they get the ball out quickly, and their splits and the way that they pass set is definitely different than what they're going to do at the NFL level. It does make it difficult at times to evaluate them because they have so few pro-style pass sets a season that it's hard. So
And that's why I made a comment about the Big 12. A lot of offenses operate that way.
right.
in the
So
Big 12.
not to take anything away from the player, but if the guy's getting the ball out in 2.2 seconds and they're throwing a bunch of bubble screens all the time, then you're obviously not going to have the exposures to allow pressure. But I'll definitely check him out. And I know, the other guy is, I always pronounce his name wrong. I think it's Minnesota.
Ariante?
Yeah, Ariante Earsey.
Is that how you say it?
Who's a really raw athletic freak of a tackle. That checks all the measurables and athleticism boxes, but just needs some seasoning. So he's the other guy that's starting to creep up into this conversation as well.
All right. Let's do a couple of calls. We're coming to the end, but we'll get some people off because I know we got to get out of here for Rook and the Playbook, which is coming up next. Let's go to Henry in Yorkshire. What's up, Henry?
Hi, guys. Love the show. I was just getting caught up with yesterday's show and thought it was interesting. Evan said, I think they're playing man coverage for like 5% of the time. It's the second highest in the league. I don't know if that's what historically to be the second highest in the league, but it just sounded a bit low. But it all got me thinking about how in the summer there were a lot of talk about how Van Pelt wants to play offense. So I really remember that about Covington and defense. And I was just wondering, 10 weeks in, what have you seen in terms of how does Covington want to play defense? What's your thoughts on that? And then my other question was how I can sign up to the newsletter. And I'll take it offline. Cheers, guys.
All right. I didn't understand a word of that. And it wasn't just he had kind of a weird. It wasn't the accent; it was the connection. It was like
it was a combination of the two.
So did anyone understand?
I think he was talking about Van Pelt.
I heard Van Pelt in the middle of it, but that's about the only two words I caught.
Did you ever see that movie like In Bruges, with like it's like they have like the really thick accents?
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend I understood what he said.
I couldn't guess.
Now I feel bad.
I'm just going to assume
Right
that he
in.
was asking about how Van Pelt, our opinions on Van Pelt.
No, we already talked about that.
Yeah. And I feel bad because I just assumed I was the only one that wasn't really getting it.
It wasn't just his accent. It was like the connection was kind of in and out a little bit. So sorry about that, Henry. Eldred
email us.
is in North Carolina. What's up, Eldred?
Hey, fellas. Enjoyed the show. What I've heard so far.
Thanks.
Paul, like me, give me T. Higgins and give me T. Mac. And that guy from West Virginia, Minnesota, I would try to get them in the second round, too.
No, we got
so much in the tackles on them.
No, it's a guy from West Virginia.
Yeah,
well,
so the guy, Irsay is going to be a top 20, 25 pick. Like, he's not going in the second round. But the guy from West Virginia might. So that could be someone that they could, if they have, 37 or 38 in the second round or something like that they could target. But the kid from Minnesota is going to be the high draft pick.
Thanks, Eldred. And one more before we leave. Courtney's in Houston. What's up, Courtney? Courtney.
Ooh, and then
Probably thought she wasn't going to get on.
bad
All right.
luck.
That's it for this
I think it's a
edition
he.
of Patriots Unfiltered. Stay tuned for John Rook in the Playbook. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition. We'll see you then.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.
Thank you.